Good morning. If athleisure was a radio show, this would be that radio show. Bo Bishop, a dignified man of leisure.
My wife will try and drag me to like an Easter brunch buffet, and I don't even like that because I don't like everybody standing over food I'm going to eat.
Friends with the highest intellectuals.
We found out the hard way. We have white furniture. That's all I'll say. Oh, God. Holy
Literally.
An athlete, coach, husband, and father.
That drives me nuts. My kids say, I'm him. Shut up. Kidding me? You're 9. You're not him. I don't even know what the hell that means.
And two guys who are considerable downgrades from a former football player.
They always thought that they were the friends, and I always thought that the guests were the friends.
No, it's the listeners.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
So funny. We don't need a former player. Hey, you know what? What if you're both? What if you're a friend and a former player? I'm still a friend. You can keep Bishop and Friends. I am still a friend.
All right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. Jake Trotter coming up around college football at 10:33. Wrote an interesting piece on Chiron Moore and the job that he is taking on at Michigan. We'll get Jake's perspective behind enemy lines at UM coming up at 10:33. 11 o'clock, we hit 2-a-days. We are now in the AFC East, so you're going to get your Bills, get your Patriots, and get locked in on that. It is a Hey Guys First Friday, so you want to get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas. Hey Guys will hit at 10 o'clock to make way for 2-a-days in the 11 o'clock hour. So 10 a.m., we will hit your Hey Guys questions. The winner there receives the distillery tour and the gift card to our great friends at High Bank. So you have that to look forward to, which is very, very nice. It is very nice that it is a First Friday. I'd be honest with you, probably going to need one. Today was first day of school, and the first day of school, it's interesting how it is. Like, the 2 youngest ones last night going to bed were in tears. Like, they were like, this sucks. Hate it. Had no interest in it. I don't know when that comes because I remember when they were very little kids, and this is what happens on the first day of school. You post the obligatory social media post to remind you of the first day of school every year, and you see how they grow year in and year out. And to us as an adult, as a parent, it's a blink. It's a blink. You're going to find this out, Chops.
Yeah.
The days are long. The years are so fast. And so it's a blink. I'm like, I just dropped NBC off last year at 6th grade. This morning I drove him and dropped him off at 7th grade. And it's like, I remember like it was yesterday, the conversation we had a year ago juxtaposed the one we had today. But there is a point where Bootsy used to, even Bootsy, when he was really young, was pretty geeked up for first day of school. Ultra social, all with the buddies. Let's cruise around, 16 recesses, have the time of our lives. And even him today was like, no, I'm not really feeling it, Dad. So much so that, like, and I remember this as a kid, like, and maybe this is a product of my wife and I maybe not being quite as diligent on these things, but like, we had a first day of school outfit as a kid.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you had it picked out for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
You got your shopping done for your new school year, and you were like, ooh, this is what I'm going to wear on the first day. Look at these new shoes I have.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right? I mean, that was my experience. And yet, now, 2 of the 3 we did get them some new shoes, but like, paid in the NBC in 7th grade was like, whatever, dude. Like, just let's go.
It's just another day. Like, just grab whatever's on top of the laundry stack.
Just go and knock it out. The other thing I was curious about, my wife does like these black where you write like grade, class, the chalkboard things. So then they say like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And like they all said, Bootsy said NFL player. Beamsy said lacrosse player, which is probably the most realistic. And then Pade said, who's NBC is 12 now, he said NBA player. And I said to my wife, I said, like, he knows, right? Like, at what point does NBA player become entrepreneur? At what point does NBA player become hedge fund lead? Like, what? At some point, there's going to have to be a switch. But I was looking at a lot of his buddies in the 7th grade as well, and many of them still want to be football players and NBA players and that type of thing. So I guess we got a couple of more years of it. But it's an emotional day for everybody. See a lot of the kids around town going back in today and see some friends of ours with the St. Bridget, and we were locked into there early on. And so away you go on first day of school, and you'll blink, and it'll be the last one.
Yeah, I think it's once you get to high school and there starts to be some separation in the athletics and people start getting recruited. And so then you kind of see where the line is drawn, because I remember specifically having a similar conversation when I was in 8th grade. We had some sort of career day, and you picked like 3 different ones. You went to different classes at different periods. And one of them was, I don't even remember what the guy worked for, but he had this whole like spiel about how, well, I've seen a lot of the boys in here, they've put down that they want to be a pro football player. And he's like, well, that's not realistic. And I remember even in 8th grade being like, yeah, but I don't know. I'm 12 right now. I don't want to put engineer at DP and L. Like,
right.
Just let me have it for a few more years.
My wife said to me, she goes, should we talk to him about it? I'm like, no, I think he knows. He'll come do it on his own. There's no reason to squash dreams. Like, live as long as you can and enjoy the most of it. I remember there was also a grade where you hit where all of a sudden the first day of school isn't like just screwing around. Like, hey, good to see you. On to the next class. Good to see you. On to the next class. Here's your syllabus. On to the next class. I feel like that. I told NBC this morning when I dropped him off, I said, I feel like this could be it. I feel like 7th grade. He's like, no, Dad, first 3 days are just planning. And I'm like, I don't know, buddy. I feel like you could be doing some real classwork on day 1 in 7th grade. It feels like the time.
Yeah, it's once you start moving all the classes. And so there's 2 options for the teacher. The teacher can do the syllabus and we'll do a get to know you. Everybody, 2 truths and a lie, or everybody tell a fun fact about yourself. And then there's the other teachers. And this starts definitely, probably, yeah, you might be right, 8th grade, but it definitely starts in high school. A third to a half of your teachers are going to come in and be like, all right, this is physics 101 or whatever the class is. And they start notes. They just start a lecture on day 1, and that will start. And it stinks. And that goes on into college. That there is syllabus week, but you'll have 1 class every syllabus week at least where the teacher just walks in and just starts a normal lecture. And you're like, oh, I guess I got to take notes. And you get out your laptop, your notebook, or whatever.
I'm still trying to get over you guys like laying out your clothes on the day before. And like having an outfit picked out.
No,
like,
you, Reese.
This was just waking up and, hey, whatever's clean, that's what's going on me.
Yeah, I was a layout guy for sure. There was I even think, now the only time when I was a kid, to the surprise of probably anyone who listens regularly, to not the surprise of anyone who listens regularly, there were 2 times a year that I got clothes. And it was school shopping and Christmas. That's it. That's the list. Like, I wasn't picking up we weren't going to town to go shopping. Other than twice, like you got Christmas, you had to make sure that was a good haul, and then there was an annual thing that my mom would do where she would take us all in for one day, and you'd do all the school shopping all in the one day, and you'd knock it out. And it was to the point where I feel like I even had like first, second, and third day outfits like lined out. Like I had 3 of them like locked in for the first 3 days. I don't even know if it went even beyond first day. It was a 3-day or at least 3 before I was wearing something that I'd worn before.
I would say for me there was also like an excitement if it was a year where I got like new undershirts and I was like, ooh, I've got the crisp white collar. I can wear a red shirt or something, and then the collar pops out and that goes. So yeah, even excited about the undershirt for me.
That's an Ohio thing.
Yeah,
the undershirt underneath the button-up shirt or the sweater, or sometimes I'll see people wear undershirts underneath polos, and I think, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I've
That's
stopped
definitely
doing
an Ohio
that.
thing. I'd never seen that before. I never saw that where I grew up. I didn't see it in the South, but then I came up here and I would see people in polos with white T-shirts underneath.
And since the weight loss, I've gone now to the white tank top under there. I also like
the Tony Soprano.
Yeah, because it's got some elastic in there, so it works a little bit as a girdle too, and kind of holds everything in. It's like a male corset.
God. No wonder you're expecting. J-Lo sees you walking around in that thing. What choice did you guys have?
Okay, so one time we did a like Goodfellas party for a friend, and so I had this gold chain. And every once in a while, I'll wear like a short sleeve button up, leave it unbuttoned with the white tank top under, and I'll put on the gold chain. I'm like, can I do this? And she's like, no, you cannot leave the house like that. But maybe someday I'll just do it.
God, I could just see you in Maltasante running around the streets of New Jersey, Newark, tracking down people who owe you money. I think it's a home run. It works for you.
I should go to the hospital in February on the due date in just a white tank top and a gold chain. I'm the dad.
Need.
What?
So next, Reese, what's the problem here with the Guardians and the Yankees? What's going on here? I've never seen any sort of language like this in the prep. It's not FCC approved language.
Nope.
You seem perturbed by what has happened. Tell the people what has happened.
So in January,
I know we had a thriller last night, right?
Yeah, well, it went 12 innings.
Okay.
Eric fell asleep in the 10th. I can't stay up for this stuff. But the Guardians scored 6 in that 12th and won the longest game of the season. There's going to be MLB on Amazon Prime tonight.
Okay.
They're going to do it. Like in January, it was Jeff Bezos put some of his money into the dying RSN model and gave Bally Sports a quasi-lifeline. And when that news came out, I was hopeful that it would mean the death of Bally. Not the slow, torturous death, but a quick one. Like, just lop the head and give everybody the option to have the MLB teams that they wanted. As soon as the season hit, the end of March, I could watch any game on Amazon without blackout restrictions. That has yet to happen, and you will have Guardians-Yankees at 7:05 tonight on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime subscribers in this area, within the sound of my voice, maybe in Florida, if you are watching us on YouTube, hello, you'll get to watch it, but because of Major League Baseball's archaic blackout restrictions, you cannot watch it in this market. So a big middle finger to you, Amazon, to Major League Baseball, for still having this be a problem in the year of our Lord, 2024.
So you're telling me that in Central Ohio tonight, if you want to watch the Guardians and Yankees, you're SOL?
Unless you have the Bally Total Fitness Sports Plus app, or I've even heard Bad Boy Streams can have that, the go around between the means. I don't know.
You can't even watch
that,
on. You can't go ahead, Chops. Go ahead.
I'm piecing something together, Reeser, because you said that you couldn't watch it on Prime, but you said you watched it. How did?
No, last night was
last
not.
night he did.
Last night was
Tonight's game is off.
I cannot.
Okay, so tonight there's no way for you to see it.
It'll be difficult. I'll make do.
You're pretty.
And I also said I fell asleep in the 10th inning. I don't know if I ever said I viewed it, because there are other ways to experience Major League Baseball games.
Oh, my God. Well, you're clean-shaven, so you're capable of anything, I would say, at this point. Anytime I see you slicked up, I feel like you're Ethan Hunt, ready to go behind enemy lines somewhere with MI6. Here's what I would say on this front. What I think is curious about this is that it's in Central Ohio, blocked out, too. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was Cleveland, but you're telling me the whole state of Ohio?
They have huge circles, because I know this from having from family in Iowa. They can't watch it like any baseball. They can't get St. Louis. They can't get Chicago. They can't get Milwaukee.
Jeez.
Here's the worst.
That sucks.
I mean, there's so many different. This is the worst thing about this, is that in Central Ohio, and I think even the map extends through both points of the state, you can't watch Pittsburgh Pirates baseball on anything but their RSN.
Oh, jeez.
So a Pirates, a Buccos Cardinals game would be blacked out if it was on Amazon.
In 1978, the World Series drew 45 million viewers. 45 million people watched the World Series in 1978. It was Dodgers and Yankees. And it was the apex of the World Series. The average audience was 45 million people watched it. Last year, it was 9. This is how you get there. This is how that happens. You're not accessible. Kids aren't playing it the way that they used to. I mean, it's a whole nother, we could do an hour on it, but this is what happened. I mean, think of that. So conversely, the Super Bowl in 1978 was around 75 million. So still really, really big. The Super Bowl now is 125 million. By the way, Americans' population in 1978 was 190 million. Now it's 300 and whatever million. So think of the percentage of people that watched the World Series in 1978 versus the percentage of people who watch the World Series now. It's dying a slow death. It is. It's still a great environment. When you go to a game, it's awesome. And there are the diehard people who love it. But it is not a mass market sport not in the vicinity of what it was 50 years ago. Just not.
Yeah, this tremendous type of stuff, fumbling of the bag.
All of this played into it. World Series games at 8:30, stuff like this with these regionals, more options for kids in the springs for other sports to play. There's a million factors that led into it. It's a radio sport, not a TV sport. There's a billion things. But this type of stuff certainly is part of it. The idea that you can't watch your game.
Well, as kids go back to school and they come home and they have dinner with their parents and the family's together, at 7:05, you've got Amazon Prime. You're like, all right, well, let's watch two of the best teams in the American League play. 7:05 start. We're in bed. We're ready to go by 9:30 unless it goes 12 hours. Everybody wins, except you can't.
Except you can't. Yeah. No, that's it. Hope maybe they learn from it, but history tells us that they won't. This Buckeye defense might not give up a touchdown for the first month of the season. Cody Simon's going to captain it. We'll hear from him coming up next. We're off and running on a First Friday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers. Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary. Terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Hey, Buckeye fans, ready for the chance to win one of 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences? As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. We're talking tickets, sideline passes, a trip for two to the Oregon game, and exclusive access to the Ryan Day Coaches Show. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 winners. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Driving this summer in a new Honda. Act now during Honda's summer event to save thousands with low 1.9% financing. Full inventory is here. Cars, SUVs, trucks, vans, and hybrids. With hybrids, the battery charges as you drive. Don't miss Honda's summer event with big savings on gas or hybrid, like the 2024 Honda Ridgeline. Now with low 1.9% financing. Search your local Honda dealer. See dealer for financing details. For well-qualified buyers. Offer ends 9/3/24.
Kemba Financial Credit Union pays you to save. Get a $300 bonus with a new money market account and earn a premium interest rate on your money. It adds up to big-time savings for your goals and dreams. Visit Kemba.org to check our rates and learn more. Restrictions apply. Bonus requires Advantage status and $10,000 minimum balance be deposited in the first 30 days and maintained to qualify for a $100 bonus at 90 days and $200 at 180 days after opening. Federally insured by NCUA. Offer ends September 30th.
We don't talk about politics on The Fan. Instead, we welcome Buckeyes fans, NFL fans, and anyone looking to escape the never-ending cycle of misery. You're safe here, friends. The Fan, home of the Buckeyes and Ohio's politics-free destination.
At Baths R Us, we're terrible roofers. We stink at installing siding. And don't ever call us for your kitchen remodel. But if you want a stunning, beautiful bathroom makeover in just 2 or 3 days, now that's when you want to call us. See, unlike most contractors these days, we offer only one service, bathroom remodeling. We don't spread ourselves thin by doing roofing or siding and a bunch of other stuff. Nope. At Baths R Us, we dedicate every company resource into mastering the craft of bath transformations. It's why we're the Midwest's biggest 5-star family-owned bathroom company. And it's why we have the happiest customers. Just check out our Google reviews. Baths R Us. We're terrible roofers, but we're awesome bathroom remodelers. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
We're seeing more and more heinous crimes committed in Ohio by illegal immigrants who shouldn't be here.
The driver of the minivan that hit a school bus full of kids in Clark County, now in custody. 52 kids were on board the bus at the time of the crash. 1 was killed. 22 others taken to hospitals.
Hermanio Joseph charged with aggravated vehicular homicide.
Hermanio Joseph is here illegally. But Senator Sherrod Brown voted to give amnesty to 11 million illegal immigrants, including those convicted of violent crimes like aggravated assault, child abuse, and drunk driving. Call Senator Sherrod Brown at 216-522-7272 and tell him to support S4689, the Justice for Jocelyn Act, and start protecting Ohio families, not criminal illegals who shouldn't even be in the country. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Skies are clear and sunny today. A little cool this morning, down in the 40s and 50s. We'll warm up to the 60s by midday with highs in the 70s. Columbus topping out at 77. I'm meteorologist Madison Reich with your weather impact forecast on The Fan.
First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
Listen, guys, I've been talking about this for a while, and part of the reason is because it absolutely works, and part of the reason is I was one of the guys that I'm about to explain. I had low testosterone, and it caused a host of problems for me. Among them, bad sleep patterns was the top of it. Decreased energy. I just didn't have the energy. The kids, hey, Dad, let's play hoops. Let's go play golf. Just found that sort of lacking. And, you know, a lot of those symptoms I just factored into aging. Like, right, getting old. You're 40. Like, this is part of it. But then I thought maybe there's a solution. And that's where we found our friends at Tri-State Men's Health. They are the experts in treating low testosterone and other men's sexual health conditions. They've successfully treated many men, including me, for low T. Many have seen amazing differences in those treatments make in their life. I know that I have, especially in the sleep and especially in just having more energy to go tackle things with the boys. So here's what I want you to do. Go to TriStateMen'sHealth.com. Take the low T quiz on the website. If the symptoms apply to you, schedule a consult with Tri-State Men's Health. They're going to do your lab work, have your results in about 30 minutes. I went through the process. It's awesome, discreet, all of those things. You're going to make a decision together with the medical team, and the cost of that appointment's $99. Now, if the consult leads to you signing up, guess what? That office visit is going to be free if you sign up the way I did on the day of the treatment. They have 2 locations here in town, quick exit off 270 in Hilliard near Medical Mile in Westerville, 800-900-9654, TriStateMen'sHealth.com today for more on that. If the first-team Ohio State defense is in the game, well, hell, if the second-team Ohio State defense is in the game, when is the first time that they give up a touchdown? Think about how preposterous that question is, because you would normally say, well, come on, I mean, everyone's going to score. I'm not sure that anyone will score on this team until Iowa, and it might be Iowa's defense. Could be. I don't know. But you look at the first month, man, and I know that these are impossible. This is impossible stuff to talk about this, like a defense not giving up a touchdown for a month. If you say, when is the first time this defense gives up 2 touchdowns? To me, it's Oregon. It's that far out. I mean, there's just aren't challenges in the first part of the schedule. We're going to hear from Caleb Downs in a little bit, coming up at 9:33, and it seems like he's putting together, or they're laying the groundwork for a potential run at a Heisman for him. Cody Simon, you're going to hear from him in a second. He's going to captain this defense. It's as loaded as it's ever been. I think last year they gave up around 11 points per game. This schedule is significantly easier. And all of a sudden you start saying, when's the first time they're going to give up 2 touchdowns? I don't know. It might be the Oregon game. It could be that far out. So then how do you build it leading into that? And that's where somebody like Cody Simon comes in. He was the Block O recipient. He is a captain. He spoke about the love of being a team leader on this loaded Buckeye team.
You never really know until it gets to the hard moments, really. And, guys can really lean on you and like, look to you to lead. And I've been saying that, like, me as a leader it's never like me just becoming. It's more like I'm taking parts of the guys who have led me. Like Tommy, is probably the best leader I've ever been around. He's tough. Will work through anything. He's vocal, physical. Like guys like that. Like when you can just take a little bit from them and implement it your own way. I mean, it goes miles. And I was just so thankful to have guys like that like in my life and on this team, and they've helped me get through a lot of moments like that.
Tommy was vocal? I could believe that in practice. That's not something that's out of the realm of possibility, but he was not vocal when he was in front of a microphone.
No, certainly the first 3 weeks. They have a bye in week 3, which is ridiculous. But to go Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, I think you give up a defensive touchdown in any of those, and you're going, what just happened?
I think it'll come down to, does one of those teams just have a guy who's like, oh, he might be playing on Sundays type returner, receiver, something like that, especially on a return, because Ohio State, you're going to imagine, is going to be kicking off a lot. Is that guy going to get out there, not like return it all the way, but get to like the 45? And then you're talking only you got to get 50-ish yards or something to get into the end zone. I think that's where they would give up a touchdown in those games. But then that would also be something, that's the crazy thing when you're talking about 2. Once they give up one, that's really going to tighten the bolts. They're going to get yelled at on the sideline, and I don't think they're, like to a team like Akron, Western Michigan, or Marshall, I don't think they're going to give up the second. We'll see what T-Bone does with Michigan State up there. New coaching regime for the Spartans, and that's on the road. That who knows what that offense could look like at this point, but he was really good with Oregon State, which is obviously even, a lesser talent than what Michigan State should have on its roster.
That's the one. I actually think Jonathan Smith can coach it.
I think so too.
So I think that there's a chance there for that operation that they could be a little better off. And they got the transfer. They got the quarterback too. So the quarterback's in the mix, and away they go. To me, it feels like that's a team that could be a little bit better. That's end of September. That makes a little bit of sense on that side of things.
Who was that? I know what you're talking about. They've got the transfer quarterback.
Did they get the kid from? No, they got the kid from Oregon State.
Childs.
Yeah, wasn't he from Oregon State? Like Smith recruited him at Oregon State?
Went with him.
And he went with him.
Probably same flight.
But it was DJU playing for him last year.
It was. Yeah, he was the quarterback at Oregon State, but they were waiting on this kid. Yes. He was kind of the one behind the guy, and they had recruited him, and he was a big get. To me, I think Michigan State's got a chance to do something. But when you look at this, the depth of talent that is on this defense, and you think about, I was talking to somebody who was at the scrimmage on Saturday, and they're like, dude, the back seven, like, are they going to give up a passing touchdown until Oregon? Like, that feels like that's in play. We are so locked down at corner. It's the best. I was thinking about this from the safeties, and we'll talk to Downs in a second, but like Downs and Ransom on the back end, how far back do you have to go to say equal that? I mean, it's a minute. I mean, certainly, was it Mike Dawson, Donnie Nicky? That's way back when you go way back 20 some years. I'm trying to some of the back ends of this. Urban had some that were remarkable when the corners were all locked in, and it was Denzel and Okuda and all those guys were kind of coming through. There was the Hooker team. I can't remember who was paired with Hooker. That had to be a pretty solid group too. But when you factor all of that in, and then the returners on the defensive front, it's just got a chance to be really imposing. And I think the way that the season starts, it might be a while before you give up a defensive touchdown. It'd be kind of disappointing if you gave one up in the first 3 weeks, quite honestly.
Yeah, and I think actually the best bet if you are going against the Buckeyes is you have to do that thing where, and it's really hard, be patient, because that's probably where you're going to get them if you can get anything that they're going to, especially at the beginning of the season, chomping at the bit a little bit, maybe just a little over aggressive, and then you can just monotonously get your way downfield. But you have to execute in that scenario, and these teams at the beginning of the schedule just, in all honesty, can't execute consistently against Ohio State. That's the talent discrepancy.
I do wonder if you'll see like a second team bust against a Marshall or an Akron.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah.
I looked a couple of years ago, and like Miami of Ohio was at the shoe leading for some reason. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And just coverage busts.
Somebody jumps a route, but it's actually a double move, and he's down the sideline, that kind of stuff.
I mean, Ohio State's a 50.5 point favorite against Akron.
It's at 50.5?
50.5. At least it was on Saturday, because Baker sent me the DraftKings sheet that had what the other things you could bet on, and I'm like, you photoshopped that, sir. And it's 50.
That's so hard, guys. I mean, I know how great and how talented, but 50.5, that is pedal to the metal. I mean, you got to be up 42-0 at half, which is in play, but you got to be up 35-0, 42-0 at half, and then you've got to kind of pour it on. You got to kind of keep going. I mean, 50.5.
You basically have to have another one. You probably have to have a 4-touchdown quarter somewhere in there, and that's a lot to ask of people. Reese, you reminded me of one more thing too with this defense. If somebody makes that double move and they're streaking down, and you're like, man, the Buckeyes finally gave up a touchdown. I can't wait for the first time Caleb Downs comes out of nowhere off the left side of the screen and just fires in like a rocket and gets the guy out of bounds at the 10 when it looks like he was gone. That's definitely going to happen.
He is, if he is anything like his video game character, get your popcorn ready, because it's a scene, man. He flies sideline to sideline. He intercepts everything. It's nuts. Any sort of bust, he tracks it down. And all of that was obviously well warranted based on what he was last year as a true freshman at Alabama when he's a freshman All-American. He is here now. He spoke yesterday. He is going to be part of a back end of a defense that's as good as any in the country. But what else could Caleb Downs try to chase down this season? Are they laying the groundwork for something even bigger? Perhaps a stiff arm trophy. We get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here in The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
Hey guys, Chaps here with a new opportunity for you. The 20-pound summer slim down with Awaken 180 weight loss. Dropping 20 pounds before summer ends. Cruising to your goal of 30, 40, 50-plus pounds down. It's simple. You take the last few weeks of summer, eating, drinking, enjoying the weather. But the difference? You're doing it with the 20-pound summer slim down. But Chopper, summer's almost over. That's the point, guys. The pounds melt off fast with Awaken 180. I dropped my first 20 in less time, and that easy 20 propelled me to reach my goal of losing 60 pounds. Then that propelled me to lose another 35. Think about it. You're about to slide back into the same old fall routine with the same old mindset. Mix it up. Live up the rest of your summer while dropping your first 20, then jump into fall with a whole new groove. Yeah, I said groove. You'll be saying it too just a few weeks from now. 20 pounds summer slim down with the solution for weight loss online at awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. You seem pretty happy this morning. I invented a song. You know songwriters have an actual word for inventing a song. Everything we want people to know about eco. Ready? Can't wait. Get eco. G-E-T-E-C-O. Get eco. They can really go. Get eco. For your Cinco. Fix in a blinko. You'll think-o. Hooray. Get eco. G-E-T-E-C-O. Get eco. You'll be cool like snow. Get eco. Like an ice Ringo. Puerto Rico. Get eco today. What do you think? You know we don't serve Puerto Rico, right? I do know that. I mean, the drive alone from Ohio is like, geez. Way too far. But you ran out of rhymes for eco? You gotta admit, the rest is pretty catchy. Oh, it's earworming already.
Get Eco.
E-C-O. As is that thing.
Do you feel that? The season is getting closer. Buckeye football comes your way in 10 days. Every game, every season. Proud to be your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Does our waiter look familiar?
I think he was the Plum Insurance mascot.
If all insurance companies were like NJM and didn't use gimmicks, then their mascots would have to get real jobs.
That explains the long purple hair in my soup.
No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof, but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444 roof.
It's the summer sell down at Performance. Get up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 24 Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees during the Make This the Summer of Jeep event. Performance, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Georgesville, and Delaware.
Not valid on previous sales. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock 8/20 to 8/31/24.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up? What's up, man? Sup with you?
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 2 restaurant locations in Grandview and Gahanna. Drink local, drink High Bank.
All right, here's what's up on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. The last defensive player to win the Heisman was Charles Woodson. He did it in 1997. You've had several guys close. Manti Te'o was close in 2012. Ndamukong Suh was in the mix. Wasn't Chase Young a finalist? I think if Chase wouldn't have he had to be suspended for a couple of games. If that didn't happen, I think maybe he had a shot at it.
And there were 2 Buckeyes that year, right? Him and Fields.
I think J.K. was too.
Or was that was Haskins? I think that was 18.
I don't know. It all runs together.
Yeah.
You had a bunch. But you haven't had a winner since Charles Woodson. So the reason I'm talking about all of this is for this reason. This is what Charles Woodson did in 1997 at Michigan. And remember, he beat Peyton Manning. The finalists that year were Woodson, Manning, Ryan Leaf, and Randy Moss. Those were the finalists. Pretty good. 3 of them gold jackets. That's getting it right. Not only gold jackets, but first ballot, no-brainer gold jackets. 3 of the 4 Heisman finalists. So what Charles did in 1997, it's funny because in my head, I thought that he played a lot more offensive football than he did. I thought that he was consistent. I thought he was like Travis Hunter. I thought he was, in my head, I thought he was out playing quite a bit of offense. Really didn't. So offensively, he had 11 catches for 231 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. He ran it just 3 times for 15 yards and a touchdown. So he had 3 total offensive touchdowns, okay, in 1997. Now, the team was undefeated. That was a part of it. He had 1 punt return touchdown. He averaged 8.6 yards a return. He had a lot of at-bats here. 33 attempts. He was their primary punt returner. Averaged 8.6 a return, which isn't groundbreaking by any stretch, but he did return 1 to the house. And then he had 7 interceptions defensively. So that's what Charles Woodson did in 1997 to win the Heisman. You're saying, so why are we reliving Charles Woodson in 1997? Because I think that in a way it's the blueprint for Caleb Downs. When Caleb Downs came in here, coming off of what he did at Alabama, he was the most prized target in the transfer portal. He was the number 1 player in the transfer portal. The best player, period. He was the best player on Alabama's defense last year at Alabama, who with all of the guys who are left are still a consensus top 6 team based on the amount of talent on that roster, and he was the best player on the defense. So here's the balance. How do you find a way to let him eat the way he's going to eat? And by the way, I'm seeing all the endorsement stuff from him this week. I see the Beats by Dre. He's got a row back. He's got all sorts of stuff that's dropping this week. So it's all starting to ramp up. How do you balance being the best defensive player on a loaded defense or on a short list of best defensive players on the loaded defense with having a few moments? If this is what they're trying to do, if this is their, they're open to it. So if he is able to do it, how much offensive football does he need to play? Because remember, you go back to spring and it's like, yeah, he might dabble a little bit at running back. And you're going to hear Caleb talk about running back. May dabble a little bit at punt return. So how do you balance all of that? Well, when I looked at the Woodson numbers, it doesn't have to be crazy. The 7 picks are probably the hardest. It wouldn't be hard at all for him to get 2 receiving touchdowns. You could do that pretty easily. You easily could get a running touchdown. That's not hard easy. It's going to be the 7 picks that you got to have. It's got to be the punt return touchdown, and you got to have it at the right time. Charles scored in the Ohio State game, so you have to have the moment at the end. So he's got to have the big moment in the Michigan game. But it's in play for him because, and if you were to say which Buckeye player is it most in play for, I do think it's him because I think the other are going to all cancel each other out unless it's Will. If Will's supreme, then he could run away with it. But the 2 backs, I think, are going to cancel each other out. I don't think you're going to have a situation where one gets 70% of the carries and the other gets 30 unless there's an injury. So there's an opportunity here for him. Caleb was available yesterday, and it was really enlightening, all the many things. Let's start with the beginning and the reason he chose Ohio State.
I knew a lot of those guys during recruitment, and I had like small relationships with them just because of talking to them, going on visits. So a lot of them were with me for my OVs, so I feel like I had a pretty good relationship with some of them coming in. And then just the knowledge that the team is going to be so strong and so collected together just because the guys have been around each other so long. So I feel like that's always a plus to know that you're walking into a real brotherhood and a real team.
That's a 19-year-old who talks like a pro right there. More from Caleb Downs. Here he is on, and I'm curious about this because it was Saban's Bama that he played for, and he was asked the difference between Ohio State and Bama. Here's what he had to say.
The different ways that they play defense here is they have different techniques and different views on how to play defense than they did at Alabama. It's a different type of system. They coach it different, and then just the coaching from the DBs is different. So you get to learn in different views and different perspectives. So I feel like if you know different things and you can pick from which ones you want to play from, I feel like that makes you a more well-rounded player.
Here's the couple other things I wanted to hear from him. Let's start with how does this defense stack up with the one he was at last year? Exactly how talented is this defense? Is it perhaps loaded? Here's Caleb on that.
We can be one of the most elite defenses to ever play in this game. So I feel like if we play at the level that we should, then everything will get handled and the plays will be made.
And finally, here is Caleb on the idea of playing a little bit of offense, especially running back.
I mean, I feel like I'm an elite player with the ball in my hands, so I would never say, I would never not believe in myself to do something. So I definitely believe that's on the table, but I'm just taking it day by day.
Is there responsibility is the wrong word. Is there pull to let him eat offensively and in the return game? I mean, you wonder what was said in the portal, right? Like, that's part of it. Does Ryan Day, does Chip Kelly, and Chip went over to him, right? Do they give him a little bit of taste offensively?
I think the toughest part about this is just how football coaches approach it so many times with, I want to minimize the amount of times that I put my best players in danger, because now it's a completely different roster, but defensively similar levels. And Iowa had this in a player like Cooper DeJean, who ended up playing a few offensive plays, but they really didn't want to do it very often, and they wanted to hold it back. So that's like what's going to hold it back the most, is that if he's only going to get 20 touches, it's going to have to be in the big games and when you think you have that opportunity. And it has to be at a time where you think you need that opportunity. Like, we need a touchdown against Oregon. We need a touchdown against Michigan. Let's put in this package with Caleb that can confuse them and he can get an opportunity. But if those games are in hand, then you might not put in that package. And I don't think it has any business Caleb Downs going in offensively trying to get him a touchdown against the lesser opponents on Ohio State's schedule. So it's tough. It just the opportunity has to actually present itself organically. You cannot force it, because you could force it, but I just don't think coaches like to force it.
I was going to go the other way with that and put him actually in situations, have formations that showcase him in a couple of different offensive locations, just to make Oregon think about it, just to make Michigan think about it, Penn State think about it. Not necessarily saying you have to bomb with Caleb Downs, but in a situation where you need a touchdown, you've got Emeka Egbuka, you've got Travion Henderson, you've got Quinshon Judkins. Why would you ever go away from one of those guys in a situation where you've got to have points, a Will Howard, in favor of giving a safety touches?
Yeah, the thing that the three of us don't know is, where does he compare to guys who do this for a living? So where does he compare playing running back to Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson? Like, how big of a step back is it? Like, what does it do? I tend to be a little bit more with you, Reese, from the standpoint of not just the tape, but if that is something that he wants, that they talk to him about in the recruiting process, it'd be very easy in the first half of the first month of the season, in any of those games in the first half, to let him do a little bit and dabble and put some stuff on the board. And then if it is something that's real, then it could be something that comes out again at the Michigan game, that type of thing. You can give the statistical accumulation early and kind of put them on the board, and then you can let it eat lately. Just to give you some perspective, last year at Alabama, he had 4 punt returns. He averaged 21.8 a return, and he did take one to the house last year at Alabama, but he only did it 4 times, so it's not like he was their primary punt returner. Defensively, he had 107 tackles, 70 of which were solo, which is crazy. He had 2 picks on the back end. He did have a forced fumble and a fumble return as well.
And Ohio State
that's what he did.
They haven't returned a punt for a touchdown in like a decade. I think it was Jalen Marshall who did it last. But I saw this today in 11 Warriors talking about Caleb Downs being available. When asked about his mindset when returning punts, Downs offered a one-word reply: score.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's cold, and love that. That's a great mentality.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't heard anybody up there who hasn't said, oh, he's every bit as good as you think he is. He's every bit. And he's wearing that 2 back there. Like, come on. It's pretty. There's a lot to like about it. There's a lot to like about a lot of this team, but him coming here, once that happened, that changes what your defense can be. All right, coming up next, Hard Knocks Episode 3 in the books. I find Caleb Williams incredibly likable. This Bears team looks to me like it could be dangerous in year 1. We will get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
While the world whizzes by, enjoy a moment of me time with Tim Hortons $6 breakfast bundle. Savor a small hot or iced coffee, then add your choice of a mouth-watering hot breakfast sandwich and a crispy golden hash brown and your pick of a classic donut. Yeah. All for $6, all just for you. Make your mornings all about me time with our $6 breakfast bundle. Available at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. Price and participation vary. Terms apply.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Pella has forever been known for the best of windows, Wilson. But our doors, just as game-changing.
Yep, same with us.
We've got traditional and modern options, but also some really innovative stuff, like big, bold colors or tuck-away sliding doors.
But do you have the give it a little kick to open it door?
Does that mean what I think it means?
Yeah, you got to give it a good little kick to open it.
Get the windows and doors that Columbus homeowners rate the leading and most trusted. PellaColumbus.com.
Hey friends, Brandon Beam over here from my great friends over at Wendy's. And Wendy's new saucy nugs, well, they're here. That means the best nugs in the entire game are now even better. You can choose between Wendy's iconic crispy or spicy nugs covered in bold, flavorful sauces, including buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, and even spicy ghost pepper. Eat them with a fork, eat them with your hands, eat them for lunch, eat them after midnight. There's no wrong answer. For a whole new way to nug, it's got to be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later. At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
We're dealing at Reichert Nissan. Hundreds of Nissans in stock, on the ground, and priced to sell fast. Low lease payments on brand new Reichert Nissan Sentras, only $219 a month. Now we're really dealing. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33 or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com. Get the right car at Reichert. We're dealing.
With approved credit, 2024 Sentra SV FWD 36-month lease with $3,000 due at signing. Offer ends 9/3/24.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV?
They're here.
Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad. Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan. Do it now.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Oh my. OAR. Live in concert. Summer Tour 24. August 29th at Kimba Live Outdoor with special guests, Right, and DJ Logic. Buy tickets now at AXS.com and the Penn Station box office. OAR Live, brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer and Promo West Productions.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. After putting up with Tom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
Man, I thought I was lost last night at NBC's first 7th grade football game, where it was the first time that I did not drive him to the game. And, you know, because this is what happens in 7th grade, you do it. And I'm like, me and a bunch of my buddies who we'd coach were like standing in a corner. Like, it was nuts. It was a very strange experience. That's nothing compared to Buddy Garrity. He didn't know what to do with his hands today. Like, they're gone. He was so young. Last year, he was like 6 months old. And now he's bouncing around like he's looking around. He's just sitting. He's sitting at the driveway just looking for, like, where are they? Where are the dudes? It's nuts. He doesn't know what to do with his hands.
Not very often are all three of them gone during the summer. Yeah.
Never. No. Almost always one of them's around. And for the most part, all three of them are in the mix, especially middle of the morning. They're kind of all in the mix. So the idea that he's running solo right now, needs to know what to do. I feel bad for him. I'm like, dude, hope for the best. It's, be excited when they come home, which was always one of my favorite things when I would come home and the dogs would sprint and have the best time of their lives.
Do you keep him pretty well groomed, or does he welcome the 70 degrees at this point? Does he seem happier to be outside with this cooler temps?
Yeah, he's good. I mean, we do groom him, but I mean, he's a golden, so like he definitely has the long hair, and it's he's not crazy about it. Like, yeah, he's running around. Like last night, it was pretty chilly last night. He was really bouncing around. I'm sure your dogs were doing the same.
Yes,
like they love this, right? Like they're like this. All right, Dad, we can live now.
Yeah, I've got a story about Kit, and I'll save it for three things. But I got a story about Kit and what's going on with her right now in the backyard.
There you go. Hard Knocks episode 3 was last night. I saw this very interesting. So two things. Number one, Florio is just like crushing this season for reasons that I don't understand. Like it's the most boring season ever. I'm thinking, boy, I don't know. If you're not interested in getting basically a behind the scenes of Caleb Williams' first ever training camp, I don't know how much more interesting Hard Knocks could be. In fact, I would argue the least interesting Hard Knocks of all time was the one involving the Cleveland Browns, because John Dorsey basically pointed them in the wrong direction on everything. They went to Dorsey and said, hey, who are some guys in position battles to follow? And he gave them people who had no chance at making the roster. That was my first season doing stuff with the Browns. And I remember they spent all that time with Devin Kajus. And it was like, well, this dude's
those crystals.
Seventh on the depth chart, Reese. Like, he's not making the team at tight end. What are we talking about?
What was the other
like Brogan
Roback?
Oh, yeah.
Brogan Roback was not making that roster. I mean, what are we doing? There was just no chance. So that was probably the most misleading, least interesting, because the people that they followed had really no impact on that team whatsoever. None.
There does seem to be like a group of people who really love Hard Knocks, and I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, or you're just going to get that in certain seasons, but they love the idea of watching the guy and then like seeing the cut scene, whether or not he makes the team in those meetings. And like, I guess I can see that. And I noticed that in this episode that like, the Bears aren't really like following. Like, they're not following a bunch of guys who are like, I don't know if they're going to make the roster. I mean, this episode was all about Caleb Williams and Torrey Taylor, who's a punter they spent the 4th-round pick on. So, like, he's making the roster, too. And maybe that's okay. It's just
Caleb's
a different
the constant,
way to
though.
do it. Yes,
he's
always
all 3 episodes, he's the constant.
Yeah, it's a top 40 radio station. You're playing the hits.
Yeah.
I mean, there's everybody wants to know how Caleb Williams is doing. And there was so much said about him as a person, coming into what would have been the NFL draft, even this last season at USC. Like, all of it was just fascinating, and it seems like it has paid off not only for the Bears, but for viewers of Hard Knocks. It's been wildly entertaining for them to see this guy, and he's crushed it on the field.
I think he's really likable. To me, the one thing that was stupefying to me was that, so there's a scene where they're going over the new stadium, and it's like there's 5 people in a room, and the guy who's like the kingmaker is Kevin Bleepin Warren. And like he's deciding if it's seat backs or if it's high top tables. And I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, the McCaskies basically, because they're kind of hands off, which if you're curious why they're not having any cussing in it, the Hard Knocks folks said it's because it's the McCaskies didn't want it. So that's why there's no cursing in Hard Knocks this year. It's because the McCaskies are like, yeah, we'd rather you not. So which is awesome because it's totally family friendly. Yeah. We've watched all the episodes.
I didn't even notice that, but
just
you're right.
Just the Rock in for an episode.
Yeah, none of it. So, but Kevin Warren like making the ultimate decision on like seat backs or like bar stool seating, I just thought was stupefying. Like this guy how did he get that job that he's now lord over the manor that is the Chicago Bears?
And also, is he making an informed like research decision, or is he just going like, I like bar stools?
His reason for it. What was his reason for it? He said, I just think it looks amateur. Or whatever. So like he wanted like the seat backs and the suites on the first few rows and then the bar stools in the back. And I thought, where's that coming from? What in the hell does he know about building a stadium?
I don't know.
What did he know about running a league?
Wasn't he part of the Vikings?
Minnesota one? Yeah.
But that was just like getting it done. I don't necessarily know if he went and picked like the backsplash tile in the suites.
It's a great question. I don't know. I mean, that one they crushed. The Minnesota one is amazing. So what the Browns are going to try to do is an amalgamation of that. So like that's really positive. But at the same time, I just found it stupefying that he's like the kingmaker on it. Like that guy gets after everything he did at the Big Ten.
Is it possibly he's at a man doesn't know his limitations?
It feels
point.
Like it, yeah. But he just keeps kind of failing upwards. Yeah. It's wild.
Soon he'll be the commissioner of the NFL.
Yeah. All right. You got time for a Pop-Up Chops movie review. Go ahead, buddy.
I've heard multiple reviewers say this so far about Alien Romulus, the most expensive fan film ever. There definitely is a lot of, oh, they said the thing, or even like eye-rolling, yeah, I get the reference, but I'm a fan of the Alien series, so basically the whole movie worked for me. They said, let's get some xenomorphs in a claustrophobic environment, film the cool scenes we can. There's face huggers and chest bursters, gross biological imagery and synthetic humans and water and acid blood and spaceships and... Okay, I won't spoil anymore. It's an alien movie, though. Yeah. To me, this is a great way to do a prequel. There is a connection to some of the other movies in the series, but the story stands on its own and really only tries to answer a simple question. I'll let you figure out what that question is. It's about 2 hours long, and the first half is a lot better from a story standpoint, with the second hour being dedicated to mostly action and monster movie stuff. I think they did a great job giving the main characters believable motivation that pulled the story along. Gone are the scientists making boneheaded decisions for no reason, which was welcome. If you like the idea of a standalone alien story with some fun bang-bang moments, then this would scratch that itch. If you want to build on some of the lofty playing God ideas Ridley Scott planted in the previous two entries, then you won't get much of that. Ridley Scott, just a producer on this one. I argue, though, they already ejected from that in Alien Covenant, so the Prometheus storyline was already a backseat rider. The standout human performance was David Johnson playing the synthetic Andy. His physicality and facial expressions really drove home the roles he was tasked with. I give Alien Romulus a B+.
There you go. Is it fun? It's fun. Let's go.
It's fun if you like Alien. It's probably going to be cringy and gross to some people, but that's a big part of that.
You're not walking into that unless you do. Like
yes.
You're not walking into that unless you do. You know what you're signing up for. We'll hit Hey Guys coming up next, second hour of the program. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
News, opinions, and insight, all before breakfast. Rise and shine with Morning Juice.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
At AAA, it's our policy to look on the plus side, and AAA Plus members tend to take the same view. Take Martin. Last Monday, his coffee surprised him with an extra 10 degrees of Fahrenheit. It was just the jolt of energy he needed. Later, when he walked into a door, he was happy to provide entertainment for his coworkers.
I'm okay.
And when his car battery took early retirement, he knew expert roadside assistance was only a call away.
Hello, AAA.
Become a AAA Plus member and experience peace of mind on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply.
You know that project you've been working on? Just chipping away at it, dreaming of the day you get to show it off? Then, when you're least expecting it, cancer. And finishing that project actually happens. I would know. I've been restoring this car for years, and today I'm giving it to my granddaughter. It's her 16th birthday and 2 years since my cancer diagnosis.
Mom, you finished it?
Happy birthday, boo-boo. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Meet animals from around the world as you explore the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. Whether you're fascinated by the towering elephant or playful sea lions, we have it all at the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. Visit columbuszoo.org to plan your visit today.
It's the summer sell down at Performance. Get up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 24 Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees during the Make This the Summer of Jeep event. Performance, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Georgesville, and Delaware.
Not valid on previous sales. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock 8/20 to 8/31/24.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy 1 pallet or more of select shingles. Plus, save 10% when you buy 68 or more select OSB sheathing. And if you find a lower price in-store or online, we'll match it. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Save no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reese. A busy day Wednesday in the Arena District at 12:05. The Clippers host the Indianapolis Indians in Game 2 of a 6-game homestand. Clippers walked off on Indy 2-1 last night. Columbus is the best record in the IL West at 30-15. Indianapolis is 5.5 games back of that with a little more than 1 month left in the AAA season. At Lower.com Field tonight at 7:30, the Columbus Crew hosts the Philadelphia Union in a Leagues Cup semifinal match. Winner advances to Sunday's final against either LAFC or the Colorado Rapids. In MLB action Wednesday, the Guardians and Yankees face off in Game 2 of their 3-game series in the Bronx. Cleveland beat New York 9-5 last night in 12 innings. As for the Reds, Cincinnati fell in Toronto 10-3 last night. Rubber match for the Redlegs and Blue Jays is tonight at 7:07. This update is sponsored by The Waterworks. Trust the pros at The Waterworks for all your plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling needs. Visit thewaterworks.com today to get started.
Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
And Chris, welcome back. Second hour of the program. A little bit of hey guys, fellas. Go ahead.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag #HeyGuys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 2 restaurant locations in Grandview and Gahanna. Drink local, drink High Bank.
All right, first one today comes from the YouTube chat. Joe says, hey guys, who was your favorite teacher and why, and what was the subject the teacher taught?
This is a two-parter for me. Mr. Trammer was my history teacher and also head football coach in small schools, so also PE teacher. So not only did we get to talk ball all the time, but we taught history, which was my favorite thing. And then he was the instructor for advanced PE, which was this absurd class I took my sophomore, junior year, and senior year of high school, where the last period of the day, we basically just played sports every day. It was awesome. So great. I did it every year. It was amazing. So that one. And then my other one was my English teacher, Miss Stone, for 2 reasons. One, she taught me the importance of the written word and to try to write something that you'd never written before and be original. And she was pretty hot, too. She brought it. Miss Stone brought it.
For me, I think I'm going to go like 2 different times, because you get different things from teachers when you're younger, and then obviously when you're in high school, college, that kind of age. So I remember my 2nd grade teacher, Mrs. Weaver, and it wasn't really anything specific, but just I really liked her. She was really nice to me, and maybe she put me on a track of being in some sort of performance type work for my life. Now, I didn't go into acting or anything like that, but she picked me to be the giant when we did the Beanstalk. What is that? Who goes up? Jack and the Beanstalk.
Jack, yeah,
and I was the giant. Fee, fi, fo, fum. And from then on out, yeah, I was willing to talk to anybody. I did get put on an island with my desk that year because I was talking to too many people. So I got taken out of like the cluster of group. Yes, I got island. And then because of what I'm doing and what I've continued to do, Mrs. Raypock is the radio teacher at Centerville. Elk Pride Never Dies. And she just has set me up with so many things. I had her junior and senior year. That was a career tech class. It was 2 periods a day. Just a lot of great building blocks and things I still think about today. And to go along with like the English example, she was very big on like speaking correctly and hitting grammar right. So ever since her, I started to say well a lot more than good. I know that one for sure.
The mean streets of the UA were the teacher that I remember the most. Just tough growing up in that cul-de-sac.
Raised by the streets of UA.
You don't know. There's a parade teachers. Almost every night in UA.
It's the best teacher for me.
You're lucky you got out alive. You really are.
Daily struggle.
The next one is from Nick. Hey, guys, in honor of Night of the Seven Kingdoms wrapping filming, what Game of Thrones spinoff / prequel do you want to see?
I've given this a lot of thought. This is really easy. I want to see Robert's Rebellion. That's what I want to see. I know how it ends. I want to see the lead up to it. I want to see them building the armies. I want to see the Mad King go mad. I want to see Jaime stab him in the back. I want to see that story. I think there's tons in that story. I mean, just think of even in the ones that the House of the Dragon, like the Baratheons aren't even talked about, and Robert gets big enough that he can overthrow the Targaryens. So, to me, that's a layup. I don't know why they haven't done that. I think it's so simple to do, and I know that while we know how it all ends, there's a lot of intrigue, I would think, getting to that end.
Yeah, I think take like
so easy.
A little bit of like what the Star Wars route on Disney Plus has done, and just say like, well, here are cool stories that we've referenced or that are in the lore of Game of Thrones world, and we'll just give you those episodes or a season that is all Robert's Rebellion or something, and then just keep mixing it up. I think that would be really cool. The other one that I was really excited for after, and I don't think we were ever going to get it. I don't know if it was ever officially on the books, but just the idea of it. Westeros. I want to know what Arya does as she sails away the other direction. She's not going back east. She's going west.
Going west, baby.
And what's out there. And I would love to see like what they could come up with that. But that's the hard part. If it doesn't have source material, we've seen what people who aren't George R.R. Martin come up with when they're allowed to do the story, and it's not always great.
Yeah, I was thinking the Adventures of Arya Stark or the Conquering of Westeros. I just don't know how much like Targaryen and dragon desire there is for anybody anymore. Like I think the House of the Dragon is kind of have everybody going, all right, what else has happened in Westeros? Like what else we doing? Like the Robert's Rebellion would be great.
I also think if they just, I don't know, finished it the right way, that would help.
Then we'd be
like
in a
just
good
go
spot.
Finish the original.
I feel like in
just pick up at the Battle of Winterfell.
You're
and
going to get a revision.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way. Like John or Danny had nothing to do with the fight defeating the Night King. No big deal.
And the problem is George R.R. Martin's getting so old that, like, how much has he actually written? Like, are we ever going to get his end of the story?
Ask J-Lo this. I was reading a synopsis today that said that Tyrion actually went really dark before the killing of his father and ended up being kind of like, almost like a very angry, miserable dude, like in the book. And they also left, and they kind of put, like, the anger that he had, the anger that, like, Lady Stoneheart, I think, was the character. All of that anger like went on to Danny without any sort of reason for it to.
And in the
like
show,
they took those and then put it on her as the one who burned it all. And like Euron Greyjoy is apparently much bigger threat in the books rather than just like a drunk pirate who hooks up with Cersei.
Yeah, because in the show, Tyrion joins up with Daenerys because he thinks that like, this is the thing that will unite the realm, but it might be more vengeful just based in the book.
Ask J-Lo for a synopsis of that for me.
I will. Kyle with this one. Hey, guys, what old man tendency are you most guilty of? He says, for example, groaning every time you stand up or get off the floor.
I mean, a lot of them. Oh, my gosh. Definitely a big sigh guy. Like, oh, jeez. I'm definitely that. Like, the kids get that a lot. Like, sometimes it's such a crutch that I will do it even if, and my wife's like, well, what's so bad about that? And I'm like, nothing. She's like, why'd you just groan? Like, why'd you scoff? What was the problem? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just used to doing it, I guess. It's got to be what it is. So I definitely, there's a lot of that. Like, when anybody brings an idea to me, I'm like, oh, jeez. That's usually what you get. So that would be the one that comes top of mind. I do a lot of the things that are mentioned.
Yeah, I think for me, especially with the news of this week that I'm becoming a dad, that I think there are a few that I definitely like align with like dad things to do. And one is we're in that time right now where every time it rains, if it hasn't rained in 4 or 5 days, oh, good. We really needed this. Lawn really needed this. Rain. Yeah, thinking that way. And then the other one is I sneeze very loudly. That's one that I've always had the big, loud dad sneeze.
Oh, my God. I'm just going to short circuit. I'm just going to connect you with my dad because you guys can talk about weather and loud sneezes because he is the king of the loud sneezes and he loves talking about the weather. That's all we talk about.
What else do me and your dad have in common?
You don't need to have anything else. From what I can tell, based on the dialogue he wants to have with me, it's just the weather.
Yeah, a lot of grunts and groans. I also like squint my eyes and like look a lot. Like I'll like crane my neck a little bit or I'll crank it to the side.
Yeah. There you go.
Do that a lot more than I think I should.
G-Money with this one. Hey, guys, what do you think about all schools going to year-round school?
So I assume he's referring to the fact that my boys went back today. And this is something that you hear educators talk about. In fact, we've had elementary school teachers for the boys through the years say that apparently there's a lot of data that a year-round school is much better for them, that they're not having to catch up. Summer has already shrunk so dramatically from when I was a kid. And it's so unique because I think everything that we did out there was based on agriculture. So as I've said many times, we were done May 15th and we didn't go back until after Labor Day because, you needed to work on the farm. So that was the operation. So Montana had this really long summer break where it was really 3 whole months you were off. And whereas my kids are almost right at 60 days, it's basically 2 months is kind of where their window is, maybe a little bit more in terms of days off. I'm not for it. I think that a kid needs a break. I think it's okay to get a break. Like, you have to be a grown-up. I was explaining this to the boys last night. Like, there's going to come a time where you're going to have to go earn. And you're going to have to show up every day. And if you don't get paid. And if you don't get paid, you can't pay bills. And all of the seriousness that comes with that. So, yes, going to school sucks compared to what you were doing yesterday playing Fortnite and NCAA college football. Yes, I understand that. That is a downgrade from that. But also, it's an incredible upgrade from what the realities of real world can be. And I don't know that we need to rush kids into that with a year-around-the-clock calendar where they're going to school year-round. So the way they would do it is they would just build in these big breaks kind of in between. Like, you'd go 3 weeks on, 1 week off, that type of stuff. And I think that'd be a disaster for parents, too. I think it'd be really hard for parents to try to navigate that world as well. So I'm not for it. Part of it's old man, get off my lawn, and part of it's just seeing that I think kids need a break from time to time.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be like, there's no other time in your life where you like get time where like, you don't have to worry about anything else. You're just playing this basketball game, or you're just going to the pool today, or you're going to an amusement park. So let kids keep that. I think I do like the idea of summer vacation more. And then you mentioned like the planning standpoint. Okay, you have some pockets, spring break, winter break, all that kind of stuff. And then you got the big one, summer break. Pretty easy to schedule for. You'd almost have to like give sanctioned, you couldn't call it vacation because they're not paid, but like sanctioned missed days for kids, because if they're in school year round, like, things are going to come up that they need to go to, that they should be at, that somebody's getting married or somebody's graduating from a college or something, things like that. Like, so that would just be too hard, I think, on the accounting of a school to keep track of everybody's approved days off. So no, I don't think I'm for it. And also, if school already is supposed to like put you in a point where you are getting used to kind of the idea of a 9 to 5, can't we just at least give them the summer and not say, also, it's year-round once you become an adult? Because they've got so much. I was just thinking about this today, that, like, man, I'm getting closer to crossing that bridge of I've been out of school longer than I was in school, period. Yeah. And because there's so much more life after school. So enjoy it while you can, because we don't get summer vacation anymore.
No, but kids need a summer vacation. Like, I couldn't imagine not having a summer vacation as a kid. Like, how drastically different growing up on the mean streets of UA would be without having those months off.
You also wouldn't feel like the change in grade, I think, as much, which I think is a huge part of growing up. Like, actually feeling the transition. Yeah,
when does the changeover happen? Like the calendar year, then you're onto the high school, the middle school, or then you're onto the high school?
These kids, and you're going to get here before you know it, Chops, but these kids are doing things. They are doing so many things that you hit fast forward on. Whether it's the athletic stuff that I do with the boys, like the round the clock, always got to be here, got to do this. There's so many things that are demanded of them, so much more than me, and so much more even than you guys were growing up in terms of what is expected and what they have to do.
Remember bored? I spent so much time bored as a kid.
I said that this summer. I said to the boys, I'm like, you're going to have a couple of days a week where you're just going to have to get used to being bored and dealing with that, because these kids, they go from one thing to the next, and there's really no break to it. So to add school as another part of that, I just think would be a huge miss. And you need to shut it off a little bit. And 2 months is fine. It's fine. Honestly, 3 was fine. I don't remember being that big of a deal. I think it turned out okay. So I think it all works itself out. Do we have a winner on this one?
Yes, we do have to pick a winner today.
All right. So the winner here gets the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank, the free distillery tour, the tasting for up to 10. We're talking about High Bank. We're talking about drinking the best and forgetting the rest. Home of the best blended whiskey in America, 3 years running. You've heard me talk about the Midnight Manhattan for a while now. That is still an absolute must-have on your shelf. High Bank Vodka, the blue label, is a stunner. My wife doesn't dabble in the clear liquors much, but when she does and she wants a slightly dirty martini, that's what I go with. She prefers it to Tito's or Stoli or anything else. It is a really clean vodka. I couldn't recommend that more highly enough. Find High Bank's award-winning local spirits at liquor stores near you. Learn more about the Whiskey War line and the Midnight Manhattan at highbankdistillery.com. Did you guys have a pick? One jump out to you?
I think the G-Money one with the school year round, because that was our longest conversation.
Okay. All right. I'm down. Yeah. Let kids be kids. Let kids be kids. That's what we're going to run for president here on this program, and we're going to go, let kids be kids. That's going to be our slogan, is how we're going to sort that things out. One prominent ESPN personality says the wheels could fall off of the Cleveland Browns. Is there some truth to it? We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Men, you already know that as we age, low testosterone can cause many issues, including decreased energy, bad sleep, a lower sex drive, and more. And if you're like most men, getting treated for low T can truly change your life. But it's also important where you get treated, because your health matters, and a quality medical practice that has true expertise in men's sexual health can help you get the best outcome. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, the leader in treating low T and other men's sexual health issues in the area. And if you're feeling like I just described and haven't yet sought treatment, or if you're not satisfied with the treatment you're currently receiving, I'd invite you to call us. At Tri-State Men's Health, our expertise is men's sexual health. It's all we do. We've successfully treated thousands of men for low T, and we offer a true 5-star experience that is like no other. If you're like most men, you'll be astounded at our service and at the results of our treatments. So make an appointment today. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
This is the White Castle Call of the Crave, and it's telling you to come in now for 10 cheese sliders for just $7.99. 10 cheese sliders for just $7.99. Boom! White Castle. Follow your crave. Limited time only, tax not included.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers. Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
When there's a United Dairy Farmers nearby, made from scratch ice cream is too. Stop by while 2-dip cones are buy one, get one free. All flavors, including peach and cookies and cream. UDF ice cream, made for you.
We don't talk politics on The Fan. Instead, you'll hear us talk about the Ohio State Buckeyes, the NFL, food, family, and fun. We're your safe space. Except when Common Man violates it by playing fart noises. The Fan, Ohio's politics-free destination.
Ah, the sounds of summer. The crack of a bat, the splash of a pool, and the dreaded silence of a broken AC. No uh-oh. Don't sweat it. Call the Waterworks Heating and Cooling Team for an AC tune-up. Schedule a visit today and stay cool all summer long. All set. Call the Waterworks Heating and Cooling Team, 614-333-9720, or schedule service on our website. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better AC.
Are you ready to turn your passion for media into a career? Ohio Media School is the place for you. With hands-on training in radio, television, sports broadcasting, and digital media, you'll gain the skills and experience you need to succeed. Don't wait. Classes are starting soon. Visit beonair.com and take the free assessment to get started. Enroll today and take the first step towards your dream career. Ohio Media School. Your future in media starts here. Visit beonair.com. beonair.com. Enroll now.
If a friend asks how you're doing, and you say,
I'm okay.
When the truth is,
I don't want my problems to burden anyone.
Or you say,
hang it in there.
Because
if I ask for help, they'll just think I'm weak.
Then this is your sign to call, text, or chat 988 for free, confidential support. Anytime. You don't have to hide how you feel.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Our video interview tool makes it easy and effortless to meet with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Skies are clear and sunny today. Temperatures rising from the 40s and 50s this morning back to the 70s this afternoon. So you might need a jacket just to get you out the door, but we'll see a high of 77 later today. I'm meteorologist Madison Reich with the weather impact forecast on The Fan.
If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie. And once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Hey guys, it's Chops here. Let me tell you about an opportunity. The 20-pound summer slim down with Awaken 180 weight loss. Dropping 20 pounds before summer ends. Cruising to your goal of 30, 40, 50 plus pounds down. Simple. You take the few last weeks of summer, eating, drinking, enjoying the weather, but the difference, you're doing it with the 20-pound summer slim down. But Chopper, summer's almost over. Guys, that's the point. Pounds melt off fast with Awaken 180. I dropped my first 20 in less time, and that easy 20 propelled me to reach my goal of losing 60 pounds. Then that propelled me to lose another 35. That could be you. You'll be saying it in just a few weeks from now that you did this with Awaken 180. 20-pound summer slim down with the solution for weight loss online at awaken180weightloss.com. Bishop and Friends, we're sponsored by Awaken 180. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 weight loss.
All right, there you go. Bill Barnwell, ESPN, says the Browns could be one of 5 teams who could regress in 2024. In fact, he uses 3 of the 4 teams in the AFC North, also mentions the Steelers and the Ravens and also the Browns, and even cites, 3 AFC North teams. Seems like it could be too many, but not out of the question. From 2020 to 21, the Browns went from 11-5 to 8-9, the Ravens 11-5 to 8-9, and the Steelers 12-4 to 9-7-1. All lost more games. He cites the fact that the Browns won a lot of close games a year ago, and cites the fact that there were plenty of instances where it could have gone the other way and just didn't. The thing that I think is interesting in the dialogue around the Cleveland Browns, we'll hear from Kevin Stefanski in just a second, and I'm going to pose this to you both. Do you think that Deshaun Watson would be viewed differently if the majority of the time he missed over the last couple of years was due to injury versus what he lost all the games for in his first year as a Brown, the off-field? Yeah. Because what I sense is that Watson has not been great sustained for them, even though he was 5-1 as a starter, really 4-1 because he doesn't get credit for the Indy game. And he had the great second half against Baltimore, which was the last time you saw him play a year ago, and he was superb in that and leading that comeback. But you haven't seen enough of it. But it feels like that what I see nationally is far more eager to have him ranked in the bottom third of the NFL of quarterbacks and to say that it's not getting there, that it's going bad, because I think he's hard to root for. I think it's a hard story to root for, so you tend to just go negative, and I understand it. I'm not suggesting that it should be any other way, but I don't know if it backs up to what he is as a player when healthy.
Yeah, I think multiple things can be true about it, too, that there is definitely confirmation bias because people just don't like Deshaun Watson for what has been in the news about him and why he has had to serve some suspensions. But then also he's just been injured, so he hasn't been in much for Cleveland anyways. And so that's the other side of it, is like he is probably playing better than people are giving him credit for, but he has not played well enough for people to be like, oh, yeah, he is back on to like that Deshaun Watson we used to see in Houston. And then for him, I do think there is some truth about like chicken or the egg, or one begets the other. Yeah. But because of all this negativity surrounding him, I think it affects him. It has made a difference in his mental makeup and how he approaches the game, and I think that's pretty fair to conclude at this point. Yeah.
I don't know if you can pinpoint it on just one thing. The 230 guaranteed is a lot, considering he just sat out an entire year because he didn't want to play for the Houston Texans. I do think that the general unlikability based off of how he's kind of handled himself with those allegations and with everything that happened, off the field that led to his suspension with that. So I never thought, and I said this the day that they signed that thing, the return on the investment has to be a Super Bowl, or it's going to be looked at as a failure, because it's so much money and so much in the guaranteed, and the scope of the contract was it's something you'll never see again. I mean, NFL owners probably got together in a smoke-filled room and said, no, that's never happening again. I don't know if the Haslams were invited to that one, but like they changed things for the NFL that didn't please ownership.
They were in a spot where the teams that were bidding on that, so
and they would have
them, Atlanta, Carolina, and the Saints. They're all in that boat, and everyone was going to 230 guaranteed because what occurred with Deshaun Watson had never previously happened. You never had a guy in the first 5 years of his career who was a 3-time Pro Bowler, led the NFL in passing, in the absolute peak of his prime, become available for free. Like, wait a second. We can trade for him? Like, just imagine if a couple of years from now, C.J. Stroud was on the market. Like, you could trade for C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
Think of the line of teams that would trade for C.J. Stroud. Now, what made the Deshaun thing much more complicated was the off-field stuff. But even with the off-field stuff, there were 4 teams in the NFL who were willing to say, here's 3 first-round picks and here's $230 million guaranteed, because quarterbacks like him don't come around very often. The problem is that since he's played there, you have not consistently seen that level of play. You haven't. And in fact, the bar for success for him is so much lower now than it was when he was acquired. Now it's like, can he be 2-to-1 touchdown to interception? Can he be in the top 15 in the league in passing?
Can you be
if
better
he's
than
that,
Joe
then
Flacco?
It's like, okay, right? If he can do that, then that's better than what we've been. If he can do that with that defense, then we can make a run at it. So, like, when he was acquired, it was like, all right, go lead the NFL in passing. That's gone. Like, no one even talks about that anymore. It's just about, to your point, can he be better than Flacco? And Barnwell references that in the piece. He says, of all of the instances where quarterbacks were lost, there was only one instance where they looked better with the backup than they did at the starter, and that's with Flacco. Now, some of that has been changed by what they've changed offensively. This is going to look very different than what you've seen the previous 2 seasons with Deshaun Watson. So that's part of it. But that part's real too. That can he play even to the level Flacco played to? That's going to be key. Go ahead, Reese.
Is he playing Saturday?
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. And I think we have that. I think Stefanski at one point said yesterday the starters are going to play. But I assume starters doesn't mean Miles. Like, I don't think Miles is going to play. I don't think Denzel Ward's going to play. Denzel Ward's in concussion protocol, but I think he's going to be fine for the opener. But I don't sense he's going to play. I would sense everybody in that offensive line is going to play.
We do have a Stefanski cut on who will play.
All of our starters should expect to play, and then we'll determine who does or doesn't, how many plays they do. In particular with Deshaun, I want to take in all the information this week and really make a final determination later in the week.
I think he needs to play.
I
agree.
Yeah, and I think it'd be good for him, especially on the road for this last one, to get in a weird environment that we talked about with the 10 p.m. Eastern start time in Seattle. I think it'd be good for him.
Here's why I think the Browns are playing in Seattle at 10 o'clock. The NFL Network is test driving the 4th window for advertising sales, and they knew they couldn't have 2 West Coast teams do it, so they needed to have one big brand East Coast Midwest team come play out there and do it. Remember, it was a late ad. Like, they weren't anticipating having to go out to Seattle. It was a late ad to the schedule. Every other game on the schedule in the preseason finale is within close proximity or as close as can be to the team. There's no other example like the Seattle one, where you're going all the way across the country to play at 10 o'clock at night. So I think it was about TV, and I think it was about the NFL Network saying, hey, because this game's on NFL Network, what can we do ratings-wise at 10 o'clock if we put a West Coast team up against, in the preseason game that now matters, the dress rehearsal, we put a West Coast team up against a kind of a big brand from back east. What can we do? So I think that's what this is about. Because they were stunned by it. It was a late ad to the schedule, and it makes no damn sense to do it. To fly an entire team out there for 2 nights, the expenses of it alone are going to be astronomical. Because there's no cuts. The cuts come next week. So you're flying 90 players.
So if this works, keep an eye on if your division is ever the one paired up with an AFC or NFC West, because you might have a couple 10 o'clock starts for your team that year.
That's what I think's what's coming. I think they're test driving the 10 o'clock
Can there
window.
be some issues with the plane that don't allow the Browns to get off the ground?
Like with Delaware State trying to get to Hawaii?
Sure. I don't want any mid-flight issues, but maybe, there's a wrench somewhere it shouldn't be before they go, we can't fly to Seattle now.
At the very least, if it were somehow to be an instance where Denzel Ward, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, like Joel Bitonio, like none of those guys need to go. They can just stay at home, and everybody else can go out there and play.
They presented a list of these guys missed the plane. Nobody knows what happened.
Their flight got rerouted to Cancun, and we're just unsure.
They're gone. Jake Trotter comes up next. He did a story on Chiron Moore and his rise to being the head coach at Michigan, so we'll go behind enemy lines on that. I'm going to ask Jake about Deshaun, too. He was on the Browns beat for a long time. Curious what he thinks would be success for Watson this year in Cleveland. That's coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Hot under the collar? Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix that fast. 1-800-COOLING.
One thing about us parents, we think we know what's in, but we're usually way off. That's why I take my kids to Great Clips for back-to-school haircuts. From fresh fades to beachy waves, they can use the online lookbook to find the cuts they want at prices I can't resist. Plus, with convenient online check-in, we save tons of time, too. I may never know what's cool again, but hey, with back-to-school haircuts at Great Clips, I don't have to. Download the app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Oh my OAR. Live in concert. Summer Tour 24. August 29th at Kimba Live Outdoor. With special guests, Right, and DJ Logic. Buy tickets now at AXS.com and the Penn Station box office. OAR Live, brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer and Promo West Productions.
It's the summer sell down at Performance. Get up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 24 Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees during the Make This the Summer of Jeep event. Performance, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Georgesville, and Delaware.
Not valid on previous sales. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock 8/20 to 8/31/24.
Kemba Financial Credit Union pays you to save. Get a $300 bonus with a new money market account and earn a premium interest rate on your money. It adds up to big-time savings for your goals and dreams. Visit Kemba.org to check our rates and learn more. Restrictions apply. Bonus requires Advantage status and $10,000 minimum balance be deposited in the first 30 days and maintained to qualify for a $100 bonus at 90 days and $200 at 180 days after opening. Federally insured by NCUA. Offer ends September 30th.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
Cash, moolah, greenbacks, dough, Skrilla chips, bread and mo. 2, 5, 10, and 20, 30 big ones, games aplenty. Cheddar, butter, loot and scratch. Find the letters, make the match, cause there's many words for cash, no doubt, many ways to play cash word. Check them out. Cash word from Ohio Lottery. It's game time, yo. Cash word, it's fun to go with millions in prizes, don't you know? Lottery players are subject to Ohio law and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Coming this Labor Day weekend, Bob's biggest challenge yet. It's time to dare to compare. It's got action. It's got suspense. It's got beeps and boops and dings and whomps and more savings than you'll believe on living rooms, dining rooms, bedrooms, mattresses, and more. And best of all, you get to play too this Labor Day weekend. Now open in Reynoldsburg and coming soon to Polaris. See how much you can save this Labor Day weekend when you dare to compare at a Bob's near you.
At Kroger Pharmacy, CARE is making it easy to get vaccinated. CARE is helping you stay protected from flu, COVID, and RSV. Seasonal vaccines are available 7 days a week with evening hours. CARE is giving you a shot at staying healthy this season. Walk in whenever is best and get multiple vaccines in one visit at your local Kroger Pharmacy. So come and get the protection you need while protecting those around you. Kroger Health, a world of care is in store. Visit Kroger.com/vaccines for more. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See site for details.
Wendy's new Saucy Nugs come in 7 saucy flavors. Yep, you can literally hear your taste buds going. Taste bud sounds may vary. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
Boss on your back? Break away from the office and head on over to Delaware Golf Club. Grab a group, play 18, and afterwards unwind with a drink by the Fire Pit Bar and Patio. Online booking makes it easy to secure your tee time. So come check out Central Ohio's home for premier golf at Delaware Golf Club.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Let me introduce you to a man with a magnificent salt and pepper beard. A man who's currently roasting lamb on a spit. A man who runs the Rocky River Greek Festival. That man is Jake Trotter.
Indeed he is. He's a senior college football writer at ESPN, and he joins on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Buddy, I'm going to talk college football with you, as we always do at this time. But we were having a conversation around the Browns, and obviously you were on that beat the last several years. And one of the things that I think is interesting is the way that nationally the player Deshaun Watson is viewed. And it feels like most people nationally are to the point with him where it's like, yeah, he's a bottom third quarterback in the league, because that's kind of what it's looked like in the time he's been on the field in Cleveland. Where is the sweet spot between the way that front office views him and the way that he's viewed outside of the building? What's the real truth on what Deshaun Watson can be at his best for the Browns, and perhaps should be this year?
Yeah, so I think that they still believe that he can be good enough to get them to where they want to go. So do they think, if you ask them, to tell the truth, do they think he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? No. Is he top 10? Probably not. They think he's a lot better than what he has shown, which is statistically, bottom 5 in the NFL. That's just what the QBR numbers tell us. And then on top of that, he just hasn't played very much. And I think that the concern I would have is that you got to go all the way back to, is it 2020, the last time he played a full season, because he sat out 2021, had the suspension in 2022, and then got injured last year after playing really only 5 games. So, that's a lot of time to be away. And, can you rekindle what you were back in those Houston Texans days? I don't know. If he can get close to that, then this team could win a Super Bowl. But, if he's, bottom third in the NFL, I don't think it's going to be enough. So I think that they still believe that that's there, and that's why they have, brought in Ken Dorsey and done everything that they could do to try to give him opportunities to be successful. Trading for wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, et cetera. But I will say, Bo, if it doesn't work this year, I think that they're going to start to lose some patience. You're talking about third year of the deal. I don't know if they can extricate themselves from the situation, given a contract that Watson has. But, I don't think they're going to be afraid to view this as a sunk cost if, it's similar to what it's looked like. So we'll see. It's a big year, probably the make or break year for him. I think it's been really interesting because I haven't been in training camp.
Right.
So I don't know what he's looked like in terms of my own eyes, but I've heard a lot of varying reports of everything from he looks really good to he looks awful. You've been there, so you're better since than I have. So I kind of feels like it's been up and down maybe a little bit, but they can't have that either. He's got to be consistently good. He can't have one good game and one bad game, which has kind of been the MO since they traded for him. I don't know what you think about that. I'd be curious to see what your evaluation has been.
I think you nailed it. And what I was going to say is what you get when you watch him in practice, you go, especially ones versus ones with Minnesota, what you get is 7 great money plays, perfect reads, hitting Chief down the middle or down the slot a little bit, or a beautiful throw to Amari down the sideline, those type of things, some really competent checkdowns and the right reads and all that stuff. And then you'll get a pick 6. Where he just misses it and just throws it right to Minnesota, and they take it to the house. That happened last Thursday at practice. So there's these. I'll tell you this. I've been at training camp with Carson Palmer. I've been at training camp with Peyton Manning. This ain't that. It's not that for sure. So that's I think the problem is that's what they're trying to get out of him, and that's the Dorsey thing and all of it. So
here's my other concern too, Bo.
Yeah.
Here's my other concern too. I think everybody just assumed the Browns are going to have this great offensive line because they've had it every year, going back to 2020 when Bill Callahan arrived. Well, he's not there anymore.
No.
Their tackle situation is a total mess. Joe Bitonio has a chance to be a Hall of Famer, but he's getting older and was banged up really badly last year. Wyatt Teller's getting a little bit older. We'll see what happens with him. I'm not saying this offensive line is terrible, but is it the third, second, first best offensive line in the NFL? That would actually surprise me, just given what the tackle situation is right now. And then you look at the running back talent, and it's not Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. No. It's Deontay Foreman and Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong. I mean, it's not anything special. So, are they going to be able to run the ball? Are they going to be able to protect the quarterback? And now, it puts even more on Watson's shoulders to produce. And I'm kind of with you in that, you'll see flash plays, but then you see terrible plays, and you just can't alternate that way and have success, in the NFL. And I think there's going to be a lot on him to make plays with his feet, which that's the one thing to me that hasn't left him. His scrambling ability remains top notch, but he just had an injured shoulder that knocked him out for the season. Before that, he had another injury to his shoulder that caused him to miss several games last year. And you're bringing in Ken Dorsey, who, had Josh Allen running a lot in Buffalo. So are they going to be able to maximize what Deshaun does best versus, with the caveat that, he can't take any hits, because if you lose him, then the season's probably over anyway. So I think there is I have no idea what to make of this offense. The good news is the defense is awesome, but if I were a Browns fan, I'd have real concerns about the offense, even if Watson does play better than he has the last couple of years.
It's as all in as you could be. There is all in to make him have success this year. And you're right, the left tackle thing's a disaster. I want to talk about something that you wrote yesterday on Chiron Moore, former Oklahoma Sooner, who you want to talk about pressure. You want to talk about keys to the kingdom. He is taking over for a guy who just won a national championship. They have NCAA allegations swarming all around them. He's at the center of the storm. We know very little about him other than this post-game presser after the Penn State game where he was so emotional, and I think that's part of the reason he got the job. He's emotional center. What did you learn about Moore? What did you come away feeling about in terms of him being ready to handle that task and step into those shoes?
Yeah, so my first year covering OU football for the Oklahoma newspaper was 2007, and that was Chiron's final year at Oklahoma. And I can tell you from the team he played on 07, I can still probably give you the entire starting lineup in the 2 days. I have no recollection of him at all. I had no recollection of him being on the team. I just don't. And I can tell you who one of the backup guards was on that team, and I just didn't recall. I mean, that's how little he played when he was there. But, I know a lot of the other guys from that team, and so, I wanted to do a story. What do you remember about him? I didn't know if it'd be a story or not. I don't know if anybody would remember, much about him, considering, he was such a, under the radar player. And, what I found, he was a beloved teammate. And so much so that he was a guy that I think had good relationships with not just the offensive line, but random other players on the team. I mean, Trent Rattery was a walk-on tight end, several years younger. He was carrying on about how Chiron was like a big brother type to him and looked out for him during summer workouts. And Gerald McCoy, who was a Pro Bowler with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is on TV now, was saying that, man, this guy was the life of the party. We his house was the hangout house. Every football team has a hangout house. His was that when he was there. And but I think that the most interesting thing about Chiron was, I think two things really stood out. Number one, this guy showed potential to be a coach even then, because he knew everything. I mean, they'd be going through preseason practice, and he'd be calling out all the defensive checks and where the blitzes were going to come from. He's not even in the game. He's doing it from behind the huddle. And, he was a guy that really helped, guys like Phil Lodeholt, who played for the Vikings, and Duke Robinson, who was an All-American. Trent Williams was on that team, all-pro left tackle with the 49ers. He was really helpful in, helping them work through missed assignments or checks. And then I think the other thing that really stood out is just like how much of an encourager he was from the sidelines. And you kind of saw, you've seen him, at Michigan as an assistant, smash everybody, sort of that. He was that way on the Oklahoma sideline, just constantly trying to encourage guys. And, you've seen with college teams, like you're a backup, you're never going to play. You don't always check out, but you're not completely checked in either. And he was never that. Like he was all in, trying to make that team as good as it could be. And that's why a lot of those guys, including Bob Stoops, say then that, or say now that they saw then that he could have been a future head coach, which obviously is what he's become.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating season up there. Week 0 this week, week 1 next week. Looking forward to having that conversation with you next week, my friend. Thank you for your time, as always.
Almost to game week. See you, Bill.
We're almost there. Jake Trotter, senior college football writer at ESPN, joining on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Thing or Not a Thing coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
This week at Meijer, buy 5 or more and save $5 or more on hundreds of items across the store. Shop items like Pepperidge Farm buns, Johnsonville smoked brats, Breyer's ice cream, and select Coca-Cola or Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable. Plus, shop hot deals on California Red Seedless grapes for $1.49 per pound. Certified Angus beef T-bone steak for $9.99 per pound. And Meijer chips, 3 for $5. Shop great prices and limited deals this week at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota, and this month 0% financing is back by popular demand on the 2024 Toyota Tundra for 48 months. But hurry in before they're gone. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com for details. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky with approved credit, tax title, and $250 doc fee not included. Offer ends August 30th.
Think Toyota. Think Tansky. Think Tansky.
With Tire Discounter's new TD Chat BS, we can detect deception over the phone. Let's call a typical tire store.
Yellow, cheapo tire where we bolt them on for less.
Yes, I need tires and lubricant for my vehicle.
Great, come on in. We'll slap on some new tires.
And what about the lubricant exchange?
Oh, yeah. We send you over to Ollie's Oil for that. They're right down the road.
Deception. Destination is 5.2 miles away.
Well, I'll be.
Also, 6 out of 10 cars need alignment.
Well, just travel on over to Alignments or Us.
Calculating. Time for 2 additional trips.
You mean you want to do tires, oil change, and alignment all in one fell swoop?
Oh, I observed that Tire Discounters, the home of free alignment, is close by.
Ugh, Tire Discounters.
And they are experts at oil changes, brakes, shocks, and...
I'm losing you.
Hello? I'm sorry. Your system has crashed.
Don't miss our Savor the Summer sale, now till Labor Day.
There's nothing like having Common Man and T-Bone resting on your bosom.
Oh, for someone with no breasts, you've done very well for yourself.
Gross. Pick up the latest T-shirt in the Fan store or pick up merch from a show you actually like. We even have Ohio State and jacket stuff. Head to 971thefan.com.
Excuse me, waiter. There's a hair in my soup. A long purple hair.
I'm so sorry. I'll get the manager.
I'm the manager. How can I help?
Wait, weren't you the Plum Insurance mascot?
What gave it away? My long purple fur?
Something like that.
What if all insurance companies were like NJM and were known for putting their policyholders first, not gimmicks? Then all those insurance mascots would have to get real jobs.
I'll pass on dessert.
No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM.
The delicious ice-cold taste of Dr. Pepper has a lasting effect on people. Lindsay from Sacramento said,
Pro tip, 40 degrees is the perfect temperature for an ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Why is 40 degrees the perfect temperature for Dr. Pepper? We brought in Sue from Duluth, Minnesota to tell us.
Oh yeah, I know a thing or two about cold. Oh, that right there is the perfect kind of ice cold for Dr. Pepper. I'd share that with my friend Nancy. She likes Dr. Pepper too, you know. My coldest...
All right, that'll be all, Sue. Having a perfect temperature for your Dr. Pepper? It's a Pepper thing. Inspired by real fan posts.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
We buy any car.
Why sell your car at WeBuyAnyCar.com? Because when you trade in, you're dealing with a dealer. And sure, they're interested in a good deal. For them, not for you. Come to WeBuyAnyCar.com instead. All we do is buy cars. You get in, get out, and get paid at a fair price. So don't take chances with a trade-in. Go to WeBuyAnyCar.com for a free online valuation.
Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
All right, this one was brought to me this morning. Very, very concerning news. Ben Affleck and the other J-Lo have filed for divorce. Thing or not a thing?
I did not know that they were married. I knew that they were back together, but I did not know that they were actually married again. Here's the deal here, right? My hunch is these two crazy kids do one thing really well, and the rest of it they struggle with. And so they did it really well to the point that they got married a long time ago. Then they separated and went, hey, we used to do this really well. Let's have some fun and do that again. And then they said, oh, my God, this is amazing. Let's do it. And then they get married again. It's like, actually, all the rest of this I hate. And so they've already done this, right? They've already done it once. So this is just a replay of it. But the one thing they did really well.
They like the build, not the maintain.
Yeah, they like the things that come with the build. Yeah.
Yeah, not a thing. There was like 2 years ago, they got back together. It's news that I didn't think anybody, who could have seen this coming, but everybody.
I don't know. I had somebody tell me once who spent a lot of time in Los Angeles, was on television out there, and she said that one thing about out there is they all do anything to tenfold. So I am so in love after a week. Let's get married after 2 months. Everything is like a headline, and everything is just so much bigger and so much more elevated and faster. And in that world, I can see how that could be the case.
Yeah, if you look, you've said that before, and if you look at it through that prism, it's like, okay, I see why they do this and how it gets like that. Jayla and I were joking this morning. I was like, okay, you can take Made in Manhattan. I'll take Good Will Hunting. We'll figure it out later today how to split up all of the assets.
Didn't she have a huge bomb movie that was kind of like a sort of film of her life?
It was kind of like a rock opera, but pop music, but obviously that was one of the, yes. It was crazy. I remember
I saw a video of her making it and him making fun of it a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, that ain't gonna last.
And in the video,
it's not gonna work.
Too, she's calling all of her celebrity friends to see if they want to have cameos in it, and they left it in of people turning her down or being like, nah, I think I'm busy, giving 2 or 3 excuses before they relent, and it's this is kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Beyonce announced yesterday she's teaming up with Moet Hennessy to create Sir Davis, a luxury whiskey named after her moonshiner great-grandpa. In a statement, Queen Bey said, quote, I've always been drawn to the power and confidence I feel when drinking quality whiskey and wanted to invite more people to experience that feeling. When I discovered that my great-grandfather had been a moonshine man, it felt like my love for whiskey was fated. Sir Davis is a way for me to pay homage to him, uniting us through a new shared legacy. Sir Davis recently won Best in Class for American Whiskey from the 2023 SIP Awards, outperforming over 100 other entities in the category. Got a gold medal at the 2023 New York International Spirits Competition. Retails for $89 and is available for pre-order. It won't be available at retail stores and select airports until September. Thing or not a thing?
I have no doubt that what's inside the bottle is probably pretty good. I'm guessing it is. She's got the resources to make sure that it's good, and I'm sure she hired the right people to make sure that it's good. She waded into country music last year and then, put out a banger. So I don't sense that she's going to fall on her face here with this thing really at all. I don't know that this thing's going to be a hit, though. This notion of an $89 whiskey at retail that's coming out of the clear blue sky, Most of the stuff, whiskey, that goes for that price is limited release, or it's been in bottle or in the barrel for 10 years. It's aged 10 years, 15 years, 20. The notion that something that she just came up with that would elicit an $89 price, to me, feels like this will fall pretty flat on that side of things.
Yeah, I think it'll have like an initial boost because somebody like Beyonce, we all know, has very loyal fans. A ton of them will go out and buy a bottle, but are they consistent whiskey drinkers? Are they going to finish the bottle? Or are they going to go get another one? Is it just a collector thing anyways that they put in their Beyonce collection? So that's what I think is more realistically what's going to happen. And that'll fool everybody that, like, look at how well it's selling. And another thing to say, look at what Beyonce has conquered. But I just don't know the continuing sales, if that's going to be something that you're going to see. And I don't know if you saw this research in your little research of it, but I saw it yesterday. I don't know how substantiated it is, but apparently they entered it in under like a pseudonym to those places they won those accolades and awards that Reeser was listing because they didn't want it to be influenced by the fact that it was Beyonce's whiskey. And I was like, that feels like bragging, but also probably what happened. But the fact that then you say it after the fact is kind of braggy.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's got a tequila line now.
Yes.
LeBron had one. Jordan had one. I mean, there's so many. Clooney kind of started that whole thing with his. So, like, Rock. I mean, there's so many of it. Kevin Hart's got one. His is actually really good. So, like, but there's so many of them out there. I just don't know. And you go to the whiskey aisle now, and you look at the bourbon aisle, the whiskey aisle, and you think what there used to be 5 or 6 bottles. There's now 200.
Like, a saturated market for sure.
Yeah. The bottle's cool. It's got like a prancing horse on it. It looks like a.
I think she designed that
bottle. Yeah, it looks cool. It's a cool look.
Guess it goes along. She just had that country album, so I guess it all combines. Wow, Beyonce has a plan? This one from ESPN. Pete Carroll isn't sure whether he'll return to coaching. For now, he's returning to USC. The former Seattle Seahawks and Trojans coach told Sports Radio 93.3 KJR FM on Tuesday that he'll start teaching a class at USC this spring, though he didn't offer any specifics beyond that. Quote, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a really exciting endeavor when it's finalized and all that, end quote. Carroll's radio appearance marked his first comments to local media since his farewell news conference at Seahawks headquarters in January, after team owner Jody Allen announced that he was transitioning into an advisory role with the organization. Sources told ESPN that Carroll has only nominally been an advisor to the Seahawks, and he told the radio station that he has been keeping his distance from the team. Thing or not a thing?
Last part, of course. Yeah, I mean, I think that was an effort to save face and be thankful for everything Pete Carroll did in Seattle. But no, this was not something he wanted. He'd still like to be coaching the Seahawks. I think this is really cool if he's going to teach a class at USC. Like, he's of an age. He's a lot older than you think and older than he looks. I think he's in his early 70s. Like, this would be a good thing. This would be a really cool thing. And the thing that jumped into my head was when Burt Reynolds taught an acting class at Florida State. Like, it was just, you walk into a classroom and here's Burt Reynolds. Like, it'd be pretty cool. You walk into like some leadership class and Pete Carroll's standing there. I think that's awesome.
72, by the way.
Yeah, it's up there.
That no chewing gum in lecture halls rule, though.
He would be a proponent of it. All the gum you want. You want more Big League Chew? I got it for you. Got all sorts of gum for you. All right, final hour of the program on a First Friday. Get your officially endorsed 2-a-days. We begin in the AFC East. Your Buffalo Bills on the docket. See if there's some fantasy sleepers out there. Someone's got to catch passes from Josh Allen. We'll figure out who it is. Final hour up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Common Man has spent the past 18 years telling you how much he hates people. And yes, that probably means you, too. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Have you ever heard someone say that they just don't make or do things like they used to? While that may be true for many things, there is one company who strives to deliver the customer experience and quality product that we all reminisce about. And that company, well, it's Newman Roofing. You can read it time and time again in their reviews, how much they truly care about their customers and the roofs that they install. And I should know, they installed a roof for me and my family, and it was tremendous. Their sales team was fantastic, and the quality was phenomenal. They strive to leave the home as they found it. And some customers say they even leave it cleaner than it was before, and I can second that. Not only do they install a quality product that is going to protect your home and family for years to come, but they also walk away leaving you feeling confident that you hired the right company. Whether you need a roof repair or replaced, call the company that families have been trusting for 32 years, and that company is Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
Right now at the Ram Make This the Summer event, well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4 for $549 a month for 42 months with $3,640 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra, no security deposit required. Call 1-877-RAM-5722 for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial. Extra charge for miles over 35,000. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by September 3rd, 2024.
It's the summer sell down at Performance. Get up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 24 Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees during the Make This the Summer of Jeep event. Performance Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Georgesville and Delaware.
Not valid on previous sales. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock 8/20 to 8/31/24.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The busy week for the Blue Jackets continues as the CBJ announced earlier today they've signed Cole Sillinger to a 2-year contract extension worth $4.5 million. The 21-year-old Sillinger appeared in 77 games for the Jackets last season, 13 goals, 19 assists. Blue Jackets begin preseason play 33 days from today in Buffalo against the Sabres. In soccer tonight, the Columbus Crew host the Philadelphia Union in a Leagues Cup semifinal match. Kickoff from Lower.com Field is 7:30. Winner plays in the Leagues Cup final on Sunday. We've got day baseball in the Arena District as the Clippers host the Indianapolis Indians at 12:05. In the majors, the Guardians are at the Yankees tonight at 7:05. Cleveland beat New York 9-5 last night in 12 innings. Guardies are 3.5 games up on the Twins for the top spot in the Central. As for the Reds, Cincinnati and Toronto play in their series rubber match tonight at 7:07. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
Going into his, you guys remember the NFL receiver Anquan Bolden played for the Ravens and the Cardinals and had a really nice career, really solid career. 49ers as well, won a Super Bowl with the Ravens.
Big guy,
yeah, really strong. Kind of in the David Boston physique mode, honestly, by the time he was done. Like, his arms got to that point. He now works with the NFLPA, I think. I saw him a couple of years ago up in Berea. Anyway, I bring all this up because going into his final season at Florida State, I'd covered him and got to know Anquan pretty well. And going into his final season at Florida State, he had always worn like braids. Like, he'd always had the braided hair. That's when that was really big, to have the braided hair. And going into his final season, he shaved it, and he kept it really tight. And I said, Anquan, what happened to the hair? And he goes, business decision. He said, what do you mean? He's like, well, this looks different, and this is much more of a professional look. And that's what I was told by people around me, that I need to look more professional, so the NFL would view me in a different way. A more recent example of this is Quinn Ewers, who, while winning the job at Texas, coming off of his first year at Texas, ditched the mullet, ditched the beard, went clean-shaven, high and tight, and looked like a quarterback, right? Perception, the way you're viewed, goes a great deal in the way that people perceive what you're capable of. So I did all of that to get to this point. I saw a video of a certain NFL quarterback warming up and all of the things that he did in the offseason to get ready. This NFL quarterback, career, right? This is career stats, 59 touchdowns to just 24 picks. Is the career numbers on it. The career rating of 90.2, and last year was 7-6 as a starter in playing last year, and as a starting quarterback in the NFL this year. And it made me, and the quarterback was Gardner Minshew. And those stats, you go, oh, he's pretty capable. And I think because of the mustache and the mullet and all that stuff, he is viewed, and the jorts, all of that stuff, I don't know that he's ever been taken seriously. Because I think people see that and think, can this guy be the forward face of an organization? His first year in Jacksonville as a rookie, they went 6-6. He completed 60% of his passes, 32-71, 21-6. His first year in Jacksonville. He was the guy. Last year he went 7-6, 62%, 33-05, 15-9 as the starter in Indy. He was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, it has gotten to the point where...
But we don't take him seriously because he walks around in a mullet and a mustache. It's a lesson for the kids out there.
Everybody likes him as the backup. He's a fun backup because you know he's capable. You've seen him play it, but you don't say at the start of free agency like, "Ooh, I think we need a quarterback. We're finally going to move on from this guy. We're trying to rebuild it." Like nobody's ever like, "Well, what about Gardner Minshew?" But he's getting his chance with Oakland. I will counter one little bit, Bo, because I think that there is a little bit. You got to find the middle ground of it because I don't want Gardner Minshew to get rid of everything that he likes to do that makes him unique. It's finding, you can't put yourself just in the box just because it's what people look like, because then you might lose some of your mojo. And I think Gardner Minshew is somebody who has a lot of mojo. So some of that is necessary, but figuring that out. Also, it's funny, kind of ironic that Anquan Boldin is like, hey, it's more of a business look. And then he goes to the Cardinals where Larry Fitzgerald had dreadlocks the entire career.
Yeah. No, that was it. But that was the way he viewed it. Steve Sarkisian said that to yours, like, hey, maybe lose the mullet. Let's be clean shaven and see what that does. Who knows? But I do think the Minshew, the way that he leans into it so much, he really leans into it with like the snap button shirts and the jean shorts and all of that. He really makes it part of his persona. And I do wonder if it's contributed to him not being taken as seriously as we should have as a quarterback, because he's actually been pretty damn good when he's in there. 59-24 touchdown to interception. That's pretty dang good, playing a lot of ball. All right, two-a-days. We are in the AFC East, and it is Buffalo. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present Two-A-Days. Our preseason look around the league. We may skip over
the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders,
but that's because they suck.
I think the Buffalo Bills, who we're starting off with here, are in the spot that the Kansas City Chiefs were in when they won 2 Super Bowls. They are in the transition from the, hey, let's go win a Super Bowl team. Let's knock on the door with Kansas City. Let's bust it down. Let's go win a Super Bowl. So that's the Stephon Diggs years and Gabe Davis and all of that. They are transitioned out of that into kind of a rebuild on the fly with a stud quarterback who they've compensated. And now we got to make the best of the situation we're in now. Like, are you guys aware of who the receivers are there? Like, if we weren't doing this, would you know who the receivers are there?
I know one of them.
Curtis? Or did you know Keon Coleman out of Florida State was really good last year?
Literal one of them.
Yeah. I mean, the back end of their defense has been rebuilt. The names that you're used to seeing back there aren't there. This is a rebuild on the fly. They are having to rebuild this thing on a fly because what happens, thanks to Mike Brown, we know this, is there is a pie. And when you give a big chunk of that pie to Josh Allen, you can't compensate everybody else. So their starting receivers are the rookie Keon Coleman out of Florida State, Curtis Samuel, our guy, and Khalil Shakur, who was a 5th-round pick in 2022. They don't have the type of weapons that they used to have had to Josh Allen. And yet, the organization is so good and so sound that they still have I think their over-under is still 10.5 this year in terms of people just thinking Allen can do it and let's go. But I see a team in transition. I do not think this is an AFC Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, Josh Allen, he's in that position where it's like, okay, are you actually on that level of these quarterbacks? Because no, nobody is 100% of Mahomes, but can you do a similar thing and carry a team where you're taking a lot of the salary cap, and so the amount of talent around you has dipped a little bit? Can you still bring that team to a division title, a conference title, a Super Bowl victory? All of those are going to be measuring marks for you, and this is the world that you're going to live in basically for the rest of your prime, because this is what quarterbacks get paid. And so that's kind of the roster situation they have. So have you improved enough? Last year they made the offensive coordinator change, Dorsey now in Cleveland, and it did seem to click a little bit down the stretch of that, but this is not the same personnel. anymore. So is that coaching staff too, that new offensive scheme, is that able to go on these guys, or was that something that worked with Stephon Diggs and won't work with Khalil Shakir?
They have the third best quarterback in the division?
No, they have the best quarterback in the division.
So he's somewhere between a 1 and a 3.
I think he's one. I think he's, if you're redrafting the NFL, I think Josh Allen goes in the top 5 picks. I think it's Mahomes 1. I mean, honestly, CJ maybe 2 now.
It's possible. Yeah.
Might be. Mahomes is 1 by a mile. Then it's CJ's 2. And then Allen, I would put in 3rd. If I were doing it, he would be 3rd for me because he's more available than Joe. Joe's just not available. And I think the Lamar is just hard because there just isn't the postseason success. That it kind of hits a brick wall every time he gets there. And Allen's gotten them closer. So I think Allen would probably go in the top. If we're redrafting the league, I think he'd probably go 2nd or 3rd.
What about for 1 year, though? Because you got Rodgers over there in New York.
I'd take him over Rodgers. I mean, Rodgers coming off an Achilles. I'd take him over. I mean, just look at the weapons that Rodgers and Tua have versus what he has.
That was my point getting to.
Okay, if you want to say if you want to amend it to 3rd best quarterback situation in the league or in the division, yes.
Well, no,
because the other guys have.
I'm with you in terms of quarterback talent. He's the best in the division. It's baffling to me why Buffalo couldn't get him talent. You can't get obviously on the same level as Tua, but help him out something something better than what he's got. Feels almost it's kind of criminal what he's going to at least try to win with from an offensive talent standpoint. Frank Gore Jr. will be in that running back room.
Still in the room.
Could be in that running back room. I guess I got their final cuts come up this time next week.
Matt Parrino going to join us at the bottom of the hour. I'm curious who he thinks they're going to throw the ball to. Because Allen's going to throw for 4,500 yards. Who's going to benefit from that? It's Keon Coleman as a second rounder? Can he do it? The very fascinating question, and that conversation will be as well. Let's hit the categories on the Bills. Franchise Mount Rushmore, Reese, who do you got?
I've got Josh Allen on that. I've got Jim Kelly. I've also got the name's escaping me.
Thomas.
What?
Thurman Thomas.
No, I don't know who that is.
Andre Reed.
Andre Reed. I had my list up, but it disappeared on me. And Kyle. Come on, Eric. Kyle Williams. Thank you.
I went with Jim Kelly and Josh Allen as well. I think Josh Allen has done enough. And this is a weird team because the exact opposite of the Patriots who are coming up next. My life, the Bills have always just kind of been a laughingstock, have been bad until Josh Allen in this new iteration. So there weren't a ton of guys there. So I was like, okay, so who stands out for them? And I came across Bruce Smith, who is a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, a 9-time first-team All-Pro, a 2-time second-team All-Pro. I don't think about the Bills, so this was not a guy that really came across my vision.
He's in a
as
bucket of players with like Lawrence Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's Reggie White. Like that's how good Bruce Smith is.
Yeah, when I saw the amount of All-Pros, I was like, okay, so this was a real dude. So I'm going to have to look up some more highlights on Bruce Smith. Just, never something that it really came across me. And then Buffalo Wings. They get credit for those.
What do you think is like what is their signature
Is it a flat
wing?
or a drummy?
I like drums more.
I'm a flat guy.
I don't like the extra step of like getting the meat out of the little horseshoe or whatever. I don't know what it's called.
A little harder work for a better return.
The meat's better.
In the middle. The meat's better.
And I think there is the secret and the difference between me and Bo.
That's right. Bruce Smith he's the George Washington of their Mount Rushmore, one of the handful of best defensive players ever. Josh Allen's obviously on it as well. Thurman Thomas is on it. He was Marshall Faulk before Marshall Faulk. Absolutely dynamic player in every single way. And I'll go Marv Levy as my 4th. You could have gone Jim Kelly too, but one of you guys mentioned Kelly, so I'll go Marv Levy, the coach of those teams. Did they land the plane with the alternate uniform?
Are these the all red?
I think so, yeah.
So much red. I gave it a C+. It's fine if you like Eastern Washington's field.
It's a lot of red.
I was in the same place with you, C+. No, there's nothing that I can point at to that's like directly wrong with it. I mean, the simplest change would just be like, just put a pair of the blue pants with it or a pair of the white pants. Like the all red's too much, so it's average at best.
I actually think the ones that they wear primarily are perfect for their color scheme and for the brand and all of it. I think they crushed the combination of the Jim Kellys, and then they took the white helmets from back in the O.J. Simpson, Jack Kemp era. So I think they crushed it. The red looks ridiculous. It truly does. It's a very silly looking uniform. If anything, they should just wear the Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith ones. Just wear those as the alternate. That would be the win. If all else fails on an alternate, wear the old one. I'd buy this jersey for my kid, Reese. Who do you got?
Probably get a 1, Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, that was the one that stood out to me. But then a name you mentioned, I don't know if he's like a free agent that was signed after the draft. But Gore Jr., run around with a Frank Gore Jr., I think that would be pretty cool.
So I think the correct answer is Josh Allen. And I would say if you take out, just looking at my kids' friends that are still into jerseys, if you take out Burrows and collection of Browns players, the only guy ahead of Josh Allen is Mahomes. Like, it feels to me like Allen is the second most popular player in the league. Truly, if that's what it feels like. It feels like it's Mahomes, then Allen slots in right behind that. Win it all playoffs, building or tanking, Reese? What do you got?
I want to say they're a win-it-all team, but the roster doesn't match that. This is a playoff team. This is a really good team, but win-it-all, I don't see it.
Yeah, that's so hard because they are in that line. We were talking about this yesterday of like teams that I think their expectation is win it all. I think that's what the Bills are approaching this every subsequent year with Josh Allen, but it's probably realistically just a playoff team this year, and I don't feel bullish that they're going to be able to push through because they haven't shown me that they can.
Yeah, it's playoffs. They're a playoff team, nothing more, nothing less. They're worse off now than they were a year ago, and certainly than they were 2 years ago. So you can't get there. This is a transition phase for them. They're lucky because they have their franchise quarterback, so they should come out of it okay. Two-a-days continues in the AFC East. The New England Patriots coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
The delicious ice-cold taste of Dr. Pepper has a lasting effect on people. Lindsay from Sacramento said,
Pro tip, 40 degrees is the perfect temperature for an ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Why is 40 degrees the perfect temperature for Dr. Pepper? We brought in Sue from Duluth, Minnesota to tell us.
Oh, yeah, I know a thing or two about cold. Oh, that right there is the perfect kind of ice cold for Dr. Pepper. I'd share that with my friend Nancy. She likes Dr. Pepper, too, My cold
All right, that'll be all, Sue. Having a perfect temperature for your Dr. Pepper? It's a Pepper thing. Inspired by real fan posts.
Hey, Bobby Carpenter here from Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric. We save our customers tons of money and frustration by simply inspecting their sewer, water, and drain lines with our high-tech cameras before there's a problem. Check us out at CarpenterColumbus.com. That's CarpenterColumbus.com.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here from my friends at High Bank Distillery Co., located right here in Columbus. Introducing their newest product, 614 Vodka, Ohio's house vodka. Perfect to make a drink at home or try when you're out at your favorite local restaurant. Learn more at 614vodka.com.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for over 30,000 mouth-watering choices with savings beyond low prices, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. More savings and more inspiring flavors make Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
During our Fresh Tyson Chicken Full Line Sale, mix and match select varieties and buy one, get one free with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444 Roof. Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar.
See for yourself when you sign up today and get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you and your family lose Ohio Medicaid and need health coverage? Check this out. You may be eligible to enroll in a low-cost health plan at healthcare.gov. With the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov offers quality plans that cover doctor visits, prescriptions, emergency care, and more. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, it's Anthony here from my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is rolling out all of his new Hondas at 2.9% up to 60 months. Just not including the Civic Si and Civic Type R, but all the other awesome new Hondas, 2.9%. You love certified? He has the dream deal. 0.99% APR for 36 months on the 23s and 24s, Civics, HRVs, CRVs, pilots, and passports. When you think Honda, you have to visit Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
The Ohio Chapter International Society of Arboriculture's mission is committed to advancing responsible tree care practices. They remind herbicide and pesticide users to always read and follow the product label. The label is the law, so take the time to know how it should be used and how to use it safely. To find out more, there are over 1,000 qualified arborists in Ohio. Visit www.treesforohio.org to find an arborist near you. That's www.treesforohio.org.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Our video interview tool makes it easy and effortless to meet with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Skies are clear and sunny today. Temperatures rising from the 40s and 50s this morning back to the 70s this afternoon. So you might need a jacket just to get you out the door, but we'll see a high of 77 later today. I'm meteorologist Madison Reich with your weather impact forecast on the Fan.
Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Week 0 for college. It is week 1 for high school football. Friday nights being high school football in Ohio. Underneath those Friday night lights, the Fan Game of the Week kicks off Friday at 7, Harvest Prep at Pick Central. After the game, it's Byers Dublin Subaru overtime with Ryan Baker and Lee Cochran. High school football is back on the Fan. I am inching close. There's no question I'm just going to turn into Buddy Garrity from Friday Night Lights, not the dog. I'm headed there so quickly. It's fast track.
When you talked about being at NBC's game yesterday and how you and the other coaching type dads were kind of huddled in, I'm like, that's just one step from everybody meeting at McDonald's in the morning to get a coffee and talk about the high school roster.
It's not even you just lean and you're there. It's so simple. I mean, it's all coming. It's all coming quickly. Luckily, I have Bootsy to keep me young because he's just 8, so I have a few more years of him where I can coach him a little bit. But other than that,
by the time he gets through, you'll be like president of the quarterback club at the high school, and you'll be in charge of everything.
Come on, it's all I want to do is plant mailboxes around town. That's all I want to do. All right, this is the New England Patriots. And it's funny because everything that you said about the Buffalo Bills, about how they were largely meaningless for much of your guys' youth, this is the opposite. Mm-hmm. This is the New England Patriots. They were the crown jewel of the NFL for 20-plus years. Belichick and Brady walked hand in hand through all of it until they didn't, and then Brady kind of proved that, actually, I was the magic of all of this. It was far more me than it was Bill, but the marriage elicited the most successful run in the history of the league. But boy, did the fall happen. You try to point to how they got here because obviously this is not what was intended. And what it comes down to is Belichick, the personnel man, the drafter, really failed Belichick, the coach. They just did not draft quality players and quality talent. And when Brady left and he wasn't like, hey, come play with Tom Brady on a discount anymore, when that stopped being the case, the New England Patriots fell off an absolute cliff. So Jared Mayo is in. He has replaced Bill Belichick. The roster is just a damn mess. Like, we do this for a living, folks. I'm around the NFL a lot. I'm on our lads right now. Jalen Polk, Kendrick Bourne, Demario Douglas.
And Bourne's on the pup.
I mean, then behind him, it's Javon Baker, KJ Osborne, Jalen Reagor, we know because he's a first-round pick, a failed first-round pick of the Eagles. Him. You got to go like Kayshon Boutte way down in there, 6th-round pick. The only reason I know him because he was good at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't anybody to throw to here. And by the way, the Browns cut Matt Landers. They released him this week because they just had too much at receiver, and he actually shined a little bit. The Patriots picked him up right away. Like he could play for them. They're inverted. Right? Remember when Brandon Ayuk was on the market? It was like, I don't want to play in New England because I don't have a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. I mean, this fall from grace, the only one that I can think of similar, you got to go NBA, and it's like the Bulls after Jordan left, Jordan and Pippen, Pete Myers, like all that, they fell off a cliff. And then the Cavaliers after LeBron, the first time, like just off a cliff, just done.
Yeah.
And just irrelevant. And that's weird in the NFL because there aren't many examples of this in the NFL where a team goes from like, let's go win the Super Bowl to brutal.
And
right
I think
away.
the magic has dried up. Obviously, Belichick is gone, but like there was even those last few years of Belichick, there was still a lot of benefit of the doubt that I think we were giving him. That going into each season, like, well, I don't know, New England, maybe with Mac Jones they get this going, and it like got worse each year. And now they're just another team. It really has. Clock has struck midnight on the Cinderella that was the New England Patriots.
There's the probably Dolphins, Jets, Bills, Grand Canyon Chasm, Patriots, in terms of where those teams are. Like they're going to be looked at as playing a different sport this year.
Is it them? And we've been through all of it except the North teams. We know all the North teams are pretty good. Minnesota, when we get to them, they could be pretty bad. But they have Justin Jefferson. Like they've got dudes. Like it's these guys and it's the Panthers. Like,
yeah.
When you look at these two rosters, I just go, I don't know.
Those are
this
like the
seems
two
so far away.
I can't even convince myself of like a playoff path for either of those two teams. And I think most teams I can. Not that I think it's going to happen, but I can see, okay, if this works right and this player improves this much and so on and so forth. I mean, right now, he's a good player, but like Jacoby Brissett is listed as the starter with Drake May being the first-round pick, but I don't think it matters which one plays for him. I don't think either of them. Like, usually it's like...
why would you play Jacoby Brissett?
Yes, why? And I don't even think it gets you to like, but they probably win like 9 games and maybe make the playoffs. Like, no, they're not even 5? There. Yeah.
They win 5 games with Jacoby Brissett. I guess you just play him to protect Drake May so that he doesn't get shell shock.
Also, Joe Milton is tricking people in camp with his giant arm just like he does at every stop he has.
Start Joe Milton. Do it, you cowards.
All right, let's hit the franchise Mount Rushmore on New England. It's been an unbelievable 25 years, but the cliff they did fall off. Reese, who do you got?
We go Brady, Belichick, Adam Vinatieri, Teddy Bruschi.
Well, I like Vinatieri in there as well. I had Brady, Belichick, and Bruschi. Every time I think of the Patriots, that first run of the 3 Super Bowls, I think of Bruschi on like holding up the 3 as the like confetti is coming down. So he stands out so much to me as far as any of their defensive players during any of their runs. And then Rob Gronkowski. Come on, like you're just spiking footballs. You're spiking anything. You're going on cruises with Bud Light. You're at the like you're always making innuendo whenever anybody interviews you. Gronkowski has had the most fun of any NFL player ever, I think.
Gronkowski's had as much fun as any professional athlete ever.
Yeah.
Like he maxed out what can be. Brady, Belichick go hand in hand in this. I go Vrabes on this as well because I love the idea of him. All he did was catch touchdown passes when he played offense while playing for them. And then I go Craig James. You say, Craig James? Pony Express, baby. SMU. Let's go. Or the 32.
He had it out for your boy Leach.
No, I don't like him on anything else. But
Okay.
I mean, everything else, I think he sucks. But he was pretty good for them in the mid-'80s, and he was an SMU guy, so I'll go that way. Did they land the plane on the alternate uniform? It's a shame they did not wear these when Brady was here more consistently.
It's a B. I mean, the old Patriot logo, that thing's really sweet. The center Patriot. But, yeah, where have these things been all my life? Like
Pat the Patriot, I think they call it.
Mid-2000s, these would have crushed it. I mean, they're pretty good now.
Yeah, I love Pat the Patriot, and he still existed. We've joked about like NFL team logos get stolen by high schools. Pat the Patriot still exists in little places around the country. Is it Carroll here? It's a small school in Ohio. I think they have a Pat the Patriot on it. I love them. I think it's an A+. The red over white is the perfect combination for them. It's better, obviously, than the uniforms they've worn all those years with Brady, and it also gets to why maybe the Bills have to do the red over red. because the Patriots maybe already had this look.
No, it's an A+. The red or whites, the Patriots an A+. But they're like the Broncos. They won the most in like the other one, like the Flying Elvis one, so they're kind of stuck in that look, even though the other one's superior. It's an A+. I'd buy this jersey for my kid. Yeah, no, I don't think. I mean,
I get a 50, like Raekwon McMillan.
Still in the mix. Get Raekwon at 50.
Smoke screen. I brought up Joe Milton specifically so I could save this. A number 4 Bailey Zappi. You know, people forget that he threw for 5,900 yards and 62 touchdowns at Western Kentucky.
Yeah, there you go. We definitely have a Brady jersey from when one of the kids were little. I know that there's one of those up there. This would probably be a pass. I guess you could do a Drake May. This is tough, man. There's just nothing on this roster worth liking or doing. And then we don't even have to go through it. They are tanking.
Is there even a Buckeye?
Raekwon, right? You said Raekwon was on there? I guess you could claim that they're building, but honestly, they'd be better off just picking number 1 overall, and if they like Drake May, trading the number 1 pick to the Giants for a bunch of picks.
Steel Chambers is on their roster, too.
There you go. They need a lot.
Sione Takitaki.
Sione Takitaki in the mix. There you go. He's a good guy. It's brutal roster. The Bills are a team of transition. Matt Parrino going to join us on that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Ready?
This Ohio State football training camp report is brought to you locally on The Fan by Weber Grills.
Ohio State football. Training camp report.
This report is brought to you statewide by Safelite Auto Glass and Bob's Discount Furniture. No secret that Ohio State's got a talented receiving group. Position coach Brian Hardline says it's the defensive backs who push them to make them better.
Yeah, I mean, I think that part of coming to Ohio State is the iron on iron, iron sharpens iron. That's a cliche statement, but it's really true. I mean, it's twofold, right? It's the DBs you go against every day, and then it's the guys in your room. You know, you can't have a bad day. So the combination of both of those is critical. You can't have one without the other. You know, I think that, again, I can sing their praises. This is the best DB core, I want to say, depth-wise and top-of-the-line-wise, that I think probably I've seen since I've been here. We've had great players, over the last 6-7 years, 8 years. So, but as a core, as a group, the quality of the coaching that's happening day in and day out, how early these guys are meeting to get job descriptions and execute at a high level, it's been different. So can't say enough about the competition we have day in, day out against BIA.
We'll have more after this.
At Bob's Discount Furniture, when you find a complete dining set that seats 6 and comes with an extendable leaf for only $5.99.
Oh my, Bob.
And a sofa that doubles as a chaise, and a bed, and storage like my Playscape for only $9.99.
Oh my, Bob.
And a queen mattress with world-famous Bobapedic memory foam and an 18-year warranty like my Treasure for only $7.99.
Oh my, Bob.
Well, there's only one thing to say.
Oh my, Bob.
Bob's Discount Furniture, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite repair, Safelite replace.
This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
While singing the praises of his wide receivers, Brian Hardline says there's still work to do.
I wouldn't say they're game ready yet. I don't think any. I mean, I'm very encouraged, though, from a group perspective, a depth perspective. I could say arguably probably the deepest, one of a deep group that I've had, and it rivals a year or two other ones, but they're different. But I'm feeling really good about a good group of guys. I can't say game ready. That's a big statement, but very encouraged.
This is Paul Keels on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
The drums bang, the flame sparks, the trumpets blow, the hot dogs sizzle, the crowd cheers, the fans eat. The sounds of Buckeye football are synonymous with the best damn band in the land in the stadium and the Weber Grills outside the stadium. Weber is a proud sponsor of Ohio State athletics. To celebrate another season, Weber is launching a limited edition Ohio State grill, inspired by our Buckeye helmets. Get the best damn grill in the land at Ohio area retailers near you ahead of the football season.
Hey, Buckeye fans, Paul Keels here for my other favorite nation, Window Nation. I just scored some new windows from Window Nation. What an amazing difference. Can't wait to start saving on those energy bills. Right now, they have an incredible offer just for Ohio State fans. Receive 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Plus, put 0 down, make 0 payments with 0% interest for 2 years. Watch your Buckeyes in comfort this season with new windows from Window Nation. Call today at 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. Tell them Paul sent you.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina, and at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
When there's a United Dairy Farmers nearby, special savings are too. Stop by while energy drinks are buy 2, get 1 free. Monster, Celsius, Red Bull, and more for less. Only with UDrive Plus at UDF.
It's the summer sell down at Performance. Get up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 24 Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees during the Make This the Summer of Jeep event. Performance, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Georgesville, and Delaware.
Not valid on previous sales. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock 8/20 to 8/31/24.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Don't be fooled by the name. Chops and Reeser are just acquaintances.
Are you guys just co-workers? It should be Bishop and Acquaintances.
And acquaintances.
That's what it should be. I guess Bishop and Friends sounds better.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's get some perspective on the Buffalo Bills and the AFC East at large. We head out on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Conversation our good buddy Matt Parrino covers the Bills at Syracuse.com, and he joins us there. Matt, 30,000 feet. This looks like the year between the year as they begin this transition. From my perspective, it looks like, okay, we made a run at this thing. We kind of were all in, and now we kind of have to retool. Where does that land with the organization? Where does that land with the fan base in terms of where the Bills are heading into 2024?
Yeah, I definitely think it's fair to say that this is going to be a transition, and the level of success that they're able to have in this window year, because the Bills have 3 picks in the first, potentially 45 or 50 in next year's draft, and a lot of different levers that they can pull to make cap space. So this is going to be an offseason next year where they can remake their roster even more than it's already been remade. They had to make a lot of hard decisions this year. The one thing that I keep telling people is you got Josh Allen. And I think that if you're able to find some pieces around him, you have a first-round pick from last year in Dalton Kincaid, who this organization is very high on. You have an offensive line that's almost fully intact. You moved on from Mitch Morse, but you moved over Connor McGovern, who was so good for them last year, and David Edwards played on a couple Super Bowl teams, or one Super Bowl team in Los Angeles. So it's just going to be about the weapons, how quickly does Keon Coleman develop? Defensively, there's definitely some questions, especially now, so even more with Matt Milano expected to miss a few months here. But it's Sean McDermott's defense, and every single year he's found a way to make that a top-tier unit. So I still think they're going to be competitive. I still think they have as good a chance as those other couple of teams in the AFC East to win the division. But a lot has to go right, and it's a really, really hard schedule.
It's a tough schedule. The division's gotten tougher. I'm with you, though. I mean, if you got Allen, you got a chance. He's been absolutely superhuman since he's been there. I'm just looking like at the R-Lads too deep, for example. You mentioned Kincaid, obviously, but like someone is going to have to catch a bunch of passes here. So I know our fantasy fans are out there listening. Who do you, as we're a month or so into camp, who is going to be the beneficiary of Diggs no longer being there, Davis no longer being there?
I think first and foremost it starts with Kincaid, but then you move over to Khalil Shakir, who is their 5th rounder a couple of years ago. He was really good last year in the last 12 games, Stephon Diggs had, I believe, 82 targets and 420 receiving yards. Shakir had 38 targets and 460 receiving yards. And he doesn't drop passes. He didn't have a single drop all last season. So they think they have something there. He plays primarily out of the slot. They have Keon Coleman. They brought in Mac Hollins, who honestly hasn't had a good couple of years ever since he was in Philadelphia, had that kind of blip. But they like what he brings. They have Curtis Samuel, who's dealing with a turf toe injury right now. He's a big piece of what they want it to be. And he spent some time with Joe Brady in Carolina. He's a former second-round pick with 4.35 speed that they think can play a little bit more on the boundary. So it's about getting him healthy, and then he's going to be a big part of this thing. And then you have a couple of wild cards, like Marquez Valdes-Scantling coming over. He's only played with elite quarterbacks, right? Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay the last couple of years with Mahomes. Now he gets a shot with Allen, and Allen's super high on him. And Sean McDermott even said he believes in MVS. He's made some big plays in the playoffs in recent years, but he's had some drop issues. So it's going to be – we could be having a different conversation at the end of every game about who is the guy that's taking the mantle, and maybe that's what they want. Maybe they want to follow the Green Bay model, which is 1 week it's Dobbs, 1 week it's Jaden Reed, 1 week it's their tight end. I mean, that's kind of the model that a lot of these teams are employing. And if you look at Kansas City's, it's like, all right, Travis Kelce eats, and then everybody kind of fills it around him since the Tyreek Hill trade. They'd like that model to work around Kincaid.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. We were talking about taking a look at the division at large, and we were talking about how really for the last 2.5 decades, New England, although it hasn't been good in the last 5 years or so, but in the Brady-Belichick era, like they just ran this division. And then all of a sudden now they've had their comeuppance, and everybody else has elevated, and the Bills have been the class of this division for a while, and now they look around and, a healthy Rodgers is in the mix, and then obviously Miami with them. Where do you kind of have those top three in the East, Matt?
I have the Bills and the Dolphins neck and neck. I think I really have a hard time picking either one of them because I really like that Miami offense. And the thing is, they're going to win a lot of games in September, October, and November to set themselves up for a division title. The problem is last year they did that, and they faltered. They wilted in December when the weather gets hard, and their defense is probably not going to be as good. I mean, you take Christian Wilkins out of what they do defensively, and that is a huge void. They have Jalen Phillips, who I like a lot, Bradley Chubb, but both those guys are coming off of season-ending injuries, and we know what they say. Sometimes it takes guys a year or more to get back to what they were. We're seeing that play out with Von Miller. They're really hoping that he can be close to the version of 2022 Miller, but that's even a little bit of a wild card. So I like those two teams to compete for the division. I'm not sold on Robert Saleh more than anything. I watch Hard Knocks like everybody else. Every time that he kind of opens his mouth, I don't know, man. I'm not a believer in what he does there. And then you got this whole Hassan Reddick situation that's played out. It's almost like a perfect lens into the dysfunction of that organization. And then you throw on top of it Aaron Rodgers, who just, in a year as important as this one is to his legacy, I think, to go and just have that whole charade of minicamp, which he could have easily avoided. It's more of the same. And is he talented? Of course. We haven't seen great Aaron Rodgers in a couple years, I will say. But I still think that they have a puncher's chance if he is going to be the guy. I just don't believe that to be the case, especially his ability to stay healthy. We just haven't seen it the last couple.
Yeah, I see it similarly to you on all of those fronts, my friend. We're dealing with, when I say we, north of us, up in Cleveland, they're dealing with trying to get a new stadium done, and they're trying to find a mix between private and public money. The Pagulas did this in Buffalo, and they're building the stadium now. How did they go about it? What lessons did maybe ownership and fan base and government learn, if any, from that process?
I mean, it's almost entirely state funded. I mean, the Pagulas didn't pick up a huge chunk of the tab. That was, I think, one of the reasons why the process took so long. I mean, that was like a 10-year process. They announced the new deal. They bought the team in 2014, and I think the finalization of everything was about 21. So maybe 7 or 8 years. And it was a long process. And, Buffalo is a blue-collar, small market town that, I think if you polled the fan base, they'd probably majority would be unhappy with how much of the bill that they had to foot. But at the end of the day, it's a pay-to-play league, and they were going to have to put up a new stadium. And I think what they ended up with, fans are excited about, and it's in the same spot as where the old stadium was. That was another part of the debate. Is it going to go downtown? They're trying to revitalize that part of the city, or keep it in Orchard Park, which is a suburb, which has been part of the foundation of the team. I mean, the tailgating here is unbelievable, and it's part of the reason there's all this room for it out in the suburbs. I mean, there's tailgates set up across that entire part of the region on game day. So, yeah, it's a headache, and I know fans get frustrated with the timeline a lot of the time, but I think in the end, once this thing goes up and it's built and it's in the past, people are going to be excited about it. I've heard that the Bills' new stadium, although it didn't cost as much as SoFi and Allegiant, when it goes up, it's going to be the nicest new stadium in the NFL, which I think Bills fans are excited about. Buffalo doesn't get that a lot of times, you know?
No, we're used to that here, too. They didn't go dome, though, right, Matt? They went open air, but it kind of protects the crowd. Is that the idea?
Exactly. They went with the Tottenham Hotspur model, which has a little bit of an enclosure at the top. It'll be about 70% cover, so fans actually won't experience as much of the weather, but the weather will still be part of the game. Tottenham actually has 90% coverage, which I thought they should have just done that. But, you know, Terry Pagula wanted the weather to be still a factor, thinks it's part of the charm. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one as well. Good stuff as always. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Take care.
All right, that's Matt Parrino, covers the Bills at Syracuse.com on that beat. We get your officially endorsed in three things up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just the slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. You seem pretty happy this morning. I invented a song. You know songwriters have an actual word for inventing a song. Everything we want people to know about Eco. Ready? Can't wait. Get Eco. G-E-T-E-C-O. Get Eco. They can really go. Get Eco. For your Cinco. Fix in a blinko. You'll think, oh, hooray. Get Eco. G-E-T-E-C-O. Get Eco. You'll be cool like snow. Get Eco. Like an ice Rico. Puerto Rico. Get Eco today. What do you think? You know we don't serve Puerto Rico, right? I do know that. I mean, the drive alone from Ohio is like, geez. Way too far. But you ran out of rhymes for Eco? You gotta admit, the rest is pretty catchy. Oh, it's earworming already.
Get Eco.
E-C-O. As is that thing.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Back to school time. Your kids probably have fancy friends. Isn't it about time you gave them a ride to be proud of? Actually, hell with the kids. Treat yourself to a new Lexus. Right now, it's the Golden Opportunity Sales Event with rates as low as 2.99% on ES, NX, and RX, as well as great lease payments. I've been a Jermaine customer for years, even before I started doing the commercials. If you're in the market, please stop in. Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton, JermaineLexus.com.
The delicious ice-cold taste of Dr. Pepper has a lasting effect on people. Lindsay from Sacramento said,
Pro tip, 40 degrees is the perfect temperature for an ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Why is 40 degrees the perfect temperature for Dr. Pepper? We brought in Sue from Duluth, Minnesota to tell us.
Oh, yeah, I know a thing or two about cold. Oh, that right there is the perfect kind of ice cold for Dr. Pepper. I'd share that with my friend Nancy. She likes Dr. Pepper, too, you know. My cold is...
All right, that'll be all, Sue. Having a perfect temperature for your Dr. Pepper? It's a Pepper thing. Inspired by real fan posts.
We go to war for you.
It's motorcycle season here in Ohio. This is attorney Robert Scherger. Distracted driving is at a record high. We know the accident is not your fault. Let us go to war for you if a negligent driver ruins your summer.
warforyou.com.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota, and this month 0% financing is back by popular demand on the 2024 Toyota Tundra for 48 months. But hurry in before they're gone. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com for details. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky with approved credit, tax title, and $250 doc fee not included. Offer ends August 30th.
Think Toyota. Think Tansky. Think Tansky.
Does our waiter look familiar?
I think he was the Plum Insurance mascot.
If all insurance companies were like NJM and didn't use gimmicks, then their mascots would have to get real jobs.
That explains the long purple hair in my soup.
No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM.
Want to know anything about the fans' contests, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Not interested in Iowa football? Too bad. Chops will tell you about it anyway. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll?
Daily Fan Poll asks, how many carries Caleb Downs will have this season at running back for the Buckeyes? Your options are 0, 1 to 5, 6 to 10, or 11 plus. Right now, 1 to 5 is getting 32%. That's the most so far. 24% of you think he's not going to get a single carry. 21% of you think he's going to get 6 to 10. And then just under 20% think he's going to get 11 or more carries at running back this season.
I would be with the third one, which was the 6 to 10.
I think actually the 1 to 5 is one of the lowest. It might be the lowest, because why would they only give him 5 across the whole season? That seems like the least likely.
That's why I went 6 to 10. Like if it's 2 touches here, a touch there, you get to 7 pretty quick. I'm with you on 1 to 5. And he's not going to be 0. Like he's going to get a touch. So like once you give him some, I think he gets a little bit more. Is the way that'll kind of finally shake out. It is a First Friday. Let's hit it.
Bishop and Friends present First Friday. Officially endorsed because everyone deserves 2 Fridays.
Sponsored by Sugar Shannara Accident Attorneys. We go to war for you at warforyou.com. That's warforyou.com.
You drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good. Because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar. Because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
All right, look, football season is coming. There's been a little bit of a crisp in the air the last couple of days. I know it's going to be really hot over the weekend, but you're staring down those noon starts and you're thinking about tailgates and all of the things that are coming your way. Now, there's a difference here. This is not the bloody beer, which I recommend. This is something different. This is the red beer. So this is a Montana tradition. You think about a tailgate, whether it's in Missoula or Bozeman, the red beer is a staple of it. So it is a red Solo cup. It is filled 80% with Yellow Jacket right out of the tap 99% of the time, although garage beer would work here too. You just eat a beer-flavored beer, and then you top it off with tomato juice, and away you go. So you get a little bit of vitamins, you get a little bit of the beer-flavored beer, and that is the red beer, which is a Montana tailgate staple, and one I think you would enjoy greatly at your tailgates this coming fall. Time for 3 things on a First Friday. Hit it, guys.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
Number 1 for me, I mentioned this off the top. NBC, 12 years old, 7th grade, played his first game that I did not coach. He did a scrimmage last week. This is the first game I did not coach. It was the first sporting event that he's played in that I did not drive him to. It is the first sporting event he's played in that he did not ride home with me. It is the first sporting event he's played in that I did not help him with, like, adjustments. It was wild. I'm not particularly fond of it. It was weird not be able to help and say, hey, dude, on this, see this. Like, it was crazy. And not just him. Like, most of the kids that were playing last night are kids that I've coached through youth football or youth basketball through the years. It was an odd experience, to say the least. It's going to take some getting used to.
I mentioned earlier this week that, hey, I would be in line for a new car if anybody wanted to get a deal with that going on, but I did fix the window in the current car right now, and that's not the point of this first thing. The point of that is then when I picked up the car, it was about 90 minutes before J-Lo was done with work yesterday, and it was her car, and so I had to pick her up at work, and I was like, wait, her car has the parking pass. I can just go and then kill the hour until she's done on campus. It's first day of class. So I went down to campus yesterday, and I walked around. I went to the Oval. I looked at the South Oval. It's really cool what they've done with Mirror Lake since I've been graduated. I know that they've had that for a few years, but it still amazes me when I walk by. But it's just cool to be on campus, all that energy. And I got to tell you, I was tempted to just walk into a class, like a large lecture hall, and just audit it. It's the first day of class. What are they going to say? They don't know who's supposed to be there. I did not, but hey, her parking pass still works. Maybe I'll just take her car one day and just go up there.
If you feel like every year pumpkin spice things arrive earlier and earlier, well, this year it's actually going to be a thing. Starbucks has confirmed their fall menus back tomorrow. It's at least the earliest arrival in the last 5 years. You're going to get the pumpkin spice latte and their brand new iced apple crisp non-dairy cream chai. I don't know what that is either.
Can you imagine ordering that? Can you imagine honest to God, like one of the three of us walking in and ordering that?
Or an apple crisp oat milk macchiato.
Not at 6:30 in the morning.
I don't know what that thing is.
Maybe for a dessert.
I mean, give me an apple crisp non-dairy chai grande, no whip, no fat. Oh my God!
Iced apple crisp.
Can I just get
milk
coffee
shaken
that's black?
espresso?
Can they push it to start like the third week of November? Like it ends on Halloween, and then next year starts 3 weeks later.
Then. Yeah, they could. Number 2 for me. So we were struggling with this with the boys in the bedtime. NBC's obviously the oldest in 7th grade now, and you say to yourself, well, what's an appropriate bedtime for a 7th grader? Now, for me in 7th grade, it was 9:30. Like, that was it, because my dad, it was lights out at 10 for the whole family. So, like, he needed a half hour to decompress. So we settled on 10. I don't know if that's right or not, if that feels like the sweet spot, but we went 10 o'clock for the 7th grader. I'm opening to know if that's too early or too late. I don't have a feel for it.
Well, shouldn't it also depend on what time his school starts? Because they're different.
He's got to be at school by 7:45, so he's up at 6:30.
Okay.
So
that's
I feel like 10 is...
That's still 8.5 hours.
That's probably what you need.
Yeah. Give him a half hour to sleep, and then he gets 8 hours. I think you're in a good spot there.
Yeah.
Second one for me, I promised a story about Kit and what she's got going on in the backyard right now. So we got some new neighbors, and they have a little tiny cat. And the cat is able to get through, like, one part where the fence post is, like where the gate is up against the house. Kit can't, but the cat can. And so the cat likes to taunt Kit and sit out there.
Oh, man.
And then it'll run away. One time Kit went outside and it ran out of this bush to get away. So now there are all these entry points and other spots that Kit is just obsessed with. So anytime you let her out, she has to check all these points. One time last week, I tried to get the cat, and I picked it up, and I brought it in to try to introduce them. Actually, Kid was pretty slow, but the cat freaked out, clawed me slightly, and then I dropped it, and then it was off, and then it was boom, and it went out this other corner, and now Kit has to check that corner, too. But we got like a Tom and Jerry situation going on with dog and cat right now, yeah.
And it's, hey, look, it gets the synapses firing. That's a win.
Rothman and Ice are up next from 12 to 3. DeVere Posey's in for AR. Adam Schefter's going to jump on at 12:33. Maybe this is the week he reports Brandon Ayuk to the Cleveland Browns.
Don't hold your breath on that. No time for 3. I'm curious because he did talk a little bit about comparing the CeeDee Lamb situation with the Jamar Chase situation. Are there any parallels there where you can find a middle ground with those two receivers? Rothman and Ice up next. We're back tomorrow. Enjoy your first Friday. Act accordingly. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
When that alarm clock goes off, Morning Juice comes on. The perfect way to dominate your day or just lay around the house. Morning Juice.
Weekdays at 6.
The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
Week 0 of college football fast approaching. Florida State and Georgia Tech is the headliner at noon on Saturday. Florida State's a 10.5-point favorite and minus 490 on the money line. Georgia Tech is plus 365 to pull the upset. Florida State is the ACC preseason favorite at plus 290. New ACC member SMU is giving Nevada 25.5 points on Saturday night. For your action update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Coming this Labor Day weekend, Bob's biggest challenge yet. It's time to dare to compare. It's got action. It's got suspense.
It's got beeps and boops and dings and whomps and more savings than you'll believe on living rooms, dining rooms, bedrooms, mattresses, and more. And best of all, you get to play too this Labor Day weekend. Now open in Reynoldsburg and coming soon to Polaris. See how much you can save this Labor Day weekend when you dare to compare at a Bob's near you.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. You've heard their name on the radio, you've seen them on TV, and possibly have heard about them from a family member or friend. One question always arises: what makes Newman Roofing different from the thousands of other roofing companies out there? Well, the answer is simple. It's a company built around family. With 3 generations of family in the roofing industry, the Newman family has built a reputation on honesty, transparency, and consistency. Family members holding key positions from the office sales to production teams, they strive every day to ensure each customer receives excellent experience and a quality product. And I should know they did my roof and their family did a great job. The Newman family drive to take care of their customers radiates throughout their team. Each team member takes pride in the work that they do. As the Newmans say, when your name is on it, it just means more. If you're in need of a roof repair or replacement, call the company that is built around family. Newman Roofing, 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
It's the summer sell down at Performance. Get up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 24 Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees during the Make This the Summer of Jeep event. Performance Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Georgesville and Delaware.
Not valid on previous sales. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock 8/20 to 8/31/24.
Bo Bishop here. High Bank Distillery Co. is the most awarded distillery in America at the 2024 San Francisco World Spirits Competition. Stop by your local liquor store to grab a bottle, or their 2 restaurant locations in Gahanna and Grandview. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text FLASH to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text SLASH to 321-321. That's /.